皆さん、おはようございます。米国独立日、米国独立記念日、大変おめでとうございます。How's everybody doing today? Good afternoon indeed. I hope everyone is enjoying their 4th of July. I'm not gonna keep it as a constant on with media, but we need to keep this banner up as an important reminder for what we're doing today. Hello, Sort of a Demon. Thank you for your check-in. Hello, Codename. Hello, Notary. I am currently enjoying a freshly opened bottle of Coke. Your beverage of choice is Pepsi. So be it. So be it. I started my day by sleeping in, of course, but no, I actually got up relatively early, but I decided that I'm not going to pussy out, and I'm going to do my flag run in armor. So I got my war belt, I got my plate carrier. I could not figure a good way to strap the flag to my plate carrier. And because it is a commemorative flag. It's a flag that was flown over the Missouri on the 80th anniversary of the Japanese surrender. So that one definitely cannot touch the ground. So I just winged it, holding the flag, people waving, passing by cars, beeping. Everyone is cheering. The Indians oddly salty for some reason. For some reason not really in the spirit of the holiday, I should say. I believe that alone is grounds for deportation immediately. Deport 100 million Indians. We can deport them into Canada, I guess. But yeah. Feather, dot, or both? Dot. I think the feather ones are pretty okay. We've established over these past few years that, you know what, maybe the feather ones are all right. Speaking of feather Indians, next Friday I will be playing buckshot roulette with Nono and some friends. So there you go. We'll have our our native representation fully covered. All right, let's pull up. We got a little bit of React slop to work with. We're going to try to keep it on the white pill side today. Just because today is a day to be celebrated. Remind your Euro friends that today is America Day. And should we ever desire it, every day would be America Day. Fuck yeah. Actually, that reminds me, there's a habitual line crosser and a fat electrician. We're just murdering people on Twitter today. I'm actually gonna pull up those tweets real quick because that is just too funny to to not engage with. All right, let's see. Yeah, get yourself a beverage, get yourself a burger, god damn it, you are an American. Like true Americans, I'm gonna stop short of just saying that they definitely raped some people. Let's start with Fat Electrician because his is just fucking murder. So some tea-twiddling cuck decided to opine on, so America turns 250. That's cute. My local pub is 364 years old. To which the Fat Electrician, you can just see there's an animation of I can imagine the Eye of Sauron just zooming in, and it's just Nick on Twitter waiting for his burgers to finish grilling. 250 years and your empire has been reduced to a single island the size of Michigan with a GOP barely higher than Mississippi, the poorest in our 50 states. Enjoy your warm beer in that unair-conditioned old pub. Don't talk too much shit online, though. You might get arrested. Ooh, somebody call an ambulance. I think I just witnessed a murder.
Enjoying his homeland while these are descendants of pilgrims and colonizers are enjoying my homelands.
All right, listen here, my little native sugar tits. You and even my own Cherokee grandfather's ancestors are not originally from here either. You realize that, right? Native people came from Asia. They crossed the Bering Land Bridge from Siberia during the last ice age thousands of years ago. We're talking 20,000 to 15,000 years ago, with evidence of people all the way down in South America.
Listen, even before we have to go that far, I think Habitual Line Crosser has a better retort to that. We carved our presidents into your sacred rocks. Get dunked on, Prairie Mexican. Oh, I forgot to turn on my stage light. Just a second. God damn it, I can't reach for it. Fuck. Oh, that's much better. All right. But yeah, it's definitely been a laugh and a half. Hey there, Hellion. Twitter diving a little bit. We're enjoying some of our senior peers dunking on on the unfortunates and the dysgenics. Remember, kids, conquered, not stolen. But yeah, I very much enjoy this. Someone I believe super chatted that in Leaflet's chat yesterday. That in 250 years we went from competing for land with cannibals to putting a man on the moon. Meanwhile, Europeans still can't figure out how to not be hot during the summer. Ah, fantastic. Enjoying American imperialism on Twitter. I mean, Twitter is technically American land, so. This tweet is picking up. People are enjoying that one. Also, no lie detected, communists are not people. Because apparently, this unfortunate individual decided that he's going to try to promote a boycott of US 250. Trying to confuse your Palantir by searching tickets to Israel and sending Gmail to a Chinese embassy. See, I don't think it's Palantir you should be concerned about. I think you should be more concerned about with, just Google. It's ever since they've rescinded that, their company motto, from Don't Be Evil. Doesn't even know any other country exists. I know, right? Real American patriots. Speaking of real American patriots, Golden Web delivers, and he is going to melt a PSA M4 upper. And if this survives longer than a fucking Q sugar weasel, I will probably pop a rib laughing.
A meltdown. YouTube, if you're watching this video is 100% YouTube compliant. The magazines we use are 29 round YouTube compliant magazines. The lower we are running is a semi-automatic lower. It is not fully automatic. Everything we have here is 100% YouTube compliant and federal and state and local law regulated and compliant. We do not sell firearms. For anybody watching this video to believe we're doing anything out of the ordinary, whatever, every bit of this is script and we're not even shooting real bullets. So that being said, guys, enjoy the meltdown. Let's go ahead and get started. Hey guys, today we're back with another meltdown, and today on the channel we'll be melting down the PSA upper. So this is the PSA M4. This is legit the cheapest upper that Palmetto State Armory had on their website, and this is going to be a two-part video series. We're going to do the cheapest upper 5.56 that PSA's got and the most expensive PSA Sabre uppers. So we've already got both of them in. We're going to be filming them both on the same day, but release them a little bit of weeks apart, so it is what it is. Build the tension up a little bit, but this, once again, is the cheapest PSA upper on their thing. So we're going to see what the cheapest...
I would probably be the most concerned that the plastic handguard is going to start melting off at some point.
This one can possibly do if you buy it from PSA's website and have it shipped into you. So A little bit of stuff on it. This is a 16-inch barrel with a M4 cuts up here in front. It is a government profile underneath the handguard. The handguard is plastic with a little bit of heat shields, but not much. So this will probably be catching on fire, so make sure you look for that. And, you know, M4 bolt carrier group, M4 upper receiver, F-marked front sight post, which is cool, and an M4 marked picatinny rail on top of it, so pretty cool. You know, full auto bolt carrier group and all that other stuff. So it's going to be an interesting video. 1 in 7 twists, so it is what it is. That being said, guys, thank you once again to PSA for sending us this upper to melt down, and the PSA Sabre, which will be releasing soon. So thank you to them as well for that. Also as well, thank you to Optics Planet for all the ammunition that we use in today's video.
PSA sent it in themselves. That's ballsy.
If it was not...
Oh, Dan Zavar. Hello there, brother. How are you doing? Welcome, Raiders. Welcome, welcome. How are you doing today? No, wait, it's too early for fireworks. God, fuck, damn it. Let me get you a shout out, brother. How are you today, Dan Zavar? Are you still suffering the unenviable fate? Come back to Tekken? I've been playing Tekken on stream. Don't you slander me. Although, the more I play Tekken off stream, the less I want to play Tekken. Listen. After having, I fought, and to be fair, I won the first to 10, but I played a first to 10 against the GOD1 Jin, who can't do standing electrics. Like, do you understand why I don't really want to play that game? I shit you not. You can go into my replays. It's still there because it's probably not overwritten yet because I've not played. Well, now you know that you can get to God 1 with Jin without being able to do standing electrics. How does that make you feel? Does rank feel worth it? What were other standouts that I remember? That's probably the highlight. Yeah. So that's why I play Tekken. I dabble in it. I like the previous 2 patches. It's okay, but it's still Tekken 8. Okay, so let's not drag that subject out. Maybe I'll get back to it when I'm out of material. But yeah, happy 4th of July. Happy US 250 to everyone. There you go. I can salute. He made it to God 1 doing Zen Up 1. I can believe it. He was... Okay, so let me give it to you. He was doing flowcharts. He was doing heavy flowcharts. In ranked, he would have blown me up. Because he was doing back forward 2-1-2, laser scraper, into manual Zen Up 1. And, of course, he was beating my attempts at taking my turn back because Zen Up 1 high crushes. He was also doing down forward 1-4-4 because it is now safe thanks to the pushback. So he was doing that into also Zen Up 1. Granted, after seeing each one of those once, I started launching him for that. He didn't stop trying. So, no, yeah. He's a follower of yours? Well... Maybe, but you understand why I'm not too eager to play ranked on stream. But yeah, let's keep going.
Be able to do it, so thank you again to them.
But yeah, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Kuromaru Onii-san. I'm everyone's favorite tactical Oni no Onii-san. We talk about sports, we talk about fighting, we talk about guns, and today we're sort of celebrating US 250.
Have a code, but if we do, gold. GOLD or GWeb. Either two. But we don't.
You know who also has a code? Not with Optics Planet, but with AS Design. Code Kuromaru for 10% off to make your rifles run extra American.
Don't have a code, and it will not get you anything off, so don't try to use it. But thank you once again to Optics Planet for the ammunition in today's...
Danzor, after God 5, you would say the game starts getting better. So you're saying that the game is better. The game is only good... Well, listen, Hellion, you can call me that, but that's not part of the standard branding, okay? In and it 100% works with tuning. See, the MCX required 0 tuning. That's the beauty of short stroke gas piston systems like that. They are enclosed. They have predictable pressures and tensions. It just pops in. If it works on one, it's going to work on each one of them, because there's no variability in bolt weight. There's no variability in buffer tube. The M4, your favorite auto gun? Good man, good man. So, like, the only bit of tuning I had to do with the MCX was getting anti-walk pins, because the Geisley pins were not were not designed with full auto in mind. So, yeah. There's some quirks that it sometimes requires to work out, but generally so far it's been great. And they've also got a ton of stuff for HK guns, MP5s, I believe UMP 40, UMP 45s, HK 416s. So come on, man, get yourself a nice gun. Your tuning amounted to a VTOR A5H3 buffer. See, because ARs are a more widely available platform, and they are a modular platform, you have to tinker with it, but as a payoff, you get a platform that does effectively everything. You can have an AR platform that's built to be a DMR, and that reaches out with high degrees of accuracy to extreme distances. You can have one built as a CQB, like Room Broom, like a Mark 18, and you need to move some stuff around to make sure it works, and you also have a wider selection of forced reset stuff. Like, for example, I have an M4 lower over there, has an Atrius in it. The Atrius doesn't work with the MCX, because the only thing that works with an MCX is either an AS design clutch or a common queer trigger, and I'm not buying common queer trigger. Gotta go. Have to help husband on the grill. Hell yeah. Have a medium rare steaks. What cuts? But thank you for dropping by, Hellion. Always a pleasure. We need to run some Gray Zone again, because I've not been playing recently. Actually, let me throw you a shout out. Ribeye. Medium rare for... I guess if it's not grass-fed, then you're fine. Enjoy the steaks. Yeah, let me give you a shout out, Hellion. Hellion is good, people. Honestly, I should commission a comic strip with you at some point. All right, as we were.
Today's video. Once again, thank you to Center Target Farms and Indoor Range for the semi-automatic lower. 1 round per pull the trigger, ATF, and YouTube people watching. This is not FA, this is single action. And blunt, or blunt. This is fake ammunition and 29 round YouTube compliant magazines, and we're filming. We've got some movie stars over here in the corner. Yeah, Blank says thank you, Kyle. Sorry boys, it's bad hot here in Kentucky right now, and I think I've lost about 2 gallons worth of water out of me today. I need to lose some weight, but either way it goes, though, not that way. But guys, I appreciate once again Center Target for the semi-automatic lower. So guys, without further ado, Kyle, how long do you think it will go?
I'd say 420 since we're talking blunt.
All right, 420 since we're talking about blunts. All right, I'll say 500. I'll put a little bit of faith into her. We'll say 500. Put your comment in the comment section below how far you think you'll go. That always helps us and helps the algorithm. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get it rolling.
All right.
How many runs did the Sugar Weasel survive?
PSA upper. Let's get to work. Here's T-Dog.
This is airsoft YouTube, I promise. $200, you think? Well, this one is spitting fire down the breach, but...
Yeah, tube is getting a little hot.
Satisfactory transport and very fun. Quick done buggy, cube-shaped tractor thing for cargo and larger assembling. A truck? Why are you typing truck? Because this is the best truck in any game you've ever played, barring being hit with guns. Already better than Cube.
Yeah, stepping on the beach.
Look at her run.
Fair. Lock up. Complete lock up, actually.
Oh. Mortar it?
I don't know. Give me one round.
No, I think it did. I think it made it past the 100.
Or one mag. Yep, we're done.
Up, it split
All
the.
right,
Oh no, the handguard is peeling off.
Looks like the gas tube has ruptured in her. If I can get the gun cleared, there we go. All right, we are clear. So I'm assuming right now that the gas tube has ruptured, which is ending the video. So we got a little bit of fire build up here on her. She's coming out the top, I guess. Got all them good carcinogens in my body, I guess.
And that's the cheapest. Yeah. No, Danzavar. So here's the thing. This is a meltdown, meaning that the gun is fired at beyond, like, well beyond its practical rates of fire. As you can see, they're just chugging magazines into it. This is not a bad result for an upper, especially a cheap upper like the Palmetto State Armory M4. I think it's what? It's like you can get this upper for like $300 on sale. Let's actually pull it up. Let's see. They're definitely doing 4th of July sales, so it's probably going to be a good representation of what we're doing here. Let's see. Rifles. Oh, we need gun parts, right? PSA 15. It's not even a saber. It's just a basic PA 15. This one is a more tactical weapon. Or as you know, fully assembled, it's 500 to 600. Well, they are running it on a machine gun lower, so we can't really say about the lower. But I mean, we're just looking at the upper here. 16-inch. There it is. $160. $160. Okay, no BCG and charging handle. Fair enough. Add $100 for the charging handle. $100 for a charging handle, and about the same for an M16 Bulgaria group, and that's it. And that is it. The Sugar Weasel is $2,000. Sugar Weasel. It's $2,000. Oh, I can't. Q is out here getting mugged by the fucking cost of a big Uber delivery. God, this is not even funny, but goddamn. It's not illegal, it's retarded. Is there a complete upper? Do you have complete uppers? Surely they sell complete uppers, because these are all with no charging handle. I guess you would probably want your own charging handle anyway. This is, well, it says on fine. MSRP $200. It's still not great. Oh boy, Kevin getting mogged by a fucking $150 shit stick.
The insurance policy. So, all right, guys, let's go ahead and let her cool down, think about what she's done, and put this fire out.
So, Danzavar, sorry to gloss over your question here. It depends on what you're referring to as a tactical weapon. You're going to have to be a little bit more specific with your terms. Also, brother, this plate carrier is too small for you. Now put an extra gas tube on it and get the barrel to glow. That would be so funny. Does the Saber have a reinforced gas tube on it? It was throwing flames back into the breach. How much the gas tubes even cost on the high end? Let's check
The Bondi
Brownells.
attack was Australia's deadliest.
Hold up. We're not ready to laugh at the Commonwealthers just yet. Wait for your turn. Brownells. Because that would probably be where you would buy a high-end gas tube. All right, let's see. Gas tube. Yes, I am above whatever arbitrary age you're asking for. All right, gas tubes. Sons of Liberty Gun Works. Gas tube for AR-15, $19. Is there a way to sort by material? Nitrile. Let's just sort it by price. Price, height, low. There you go. Fuck are you? Okay. It did not understand the assignment. Barrel with gas tube, barrel with gas tube. Gun parts. Gas tubes. There we go. Yeah, like the most expensive I can find here is $65. I don't know why it's shaped like that, but you know, it's probably for a good reason. Everything else is like $20. Inconel gas tube carbon length 80 bucks. Yeah, fair enough. Oh, for dwell time, I see.
Alright guys, so we are back and the PSA M4 is officially melted. Final round count, 360 rounds. 360 rounds. So
it mogged the sugar weasel. $2,000 rifle, by the way.
in turn, if you took $1 for every round that
So it takes another C note to make a shit stick completely mog a 200k mug. 200k gun. No. It mogs the 200k gun out of the box.
the Q Sugar Weasel went and you spend it on this one, you would still have $50 Ritas left at Applebee's that you could drink. So you could leave her in good shape. But that is just something that is so interesting to me, is that how this is a $150 Rita at Applebee's upper. So $150 Ritas is all it would take to get this right here at Applebee's. And it went 360 rounds. So, I mean, guys, that right there in of itself should tell you something. So, once again, this is the cheapest upper on Palmetto State Armory. And it still went 360 rounds for $150 Ritas at Applebee's. So, that should tell you all you need to know. So the final failure point in here, once again, was like what we said on video with the gas tube rupturing. The gas tube is pretty much non-existent anymore. It's snaked up pretty bad.
I mean, that's why piston guns outperform everything on this list. Pretty sure you could buy like 6 of these and win an extended firefight against the weasel and come out under budget too. Yeah, probably.
If I can get this loose, there we go. There's a little bit of it left, probably about a 1/10 or quarter of an inch in the gas tube still up in the upper. It's just snaked completely up the actual barrel itself. But barrel has not been at all. Like, I mean, obviously I don't think it should. We finally had to put out the fire a little bit with a bucket of water we had over here. But overall, 360 rounds through the Palmetto State Armory M4 is pretty interesting for what you get here. So I'm proud of her. Like I said, you know, if you wanted to take this and put a better gas tube in there and run a little bit harder, I think it would have went a little bit longer. But still, 360 rounds for a $150 Rita upper is hard to beat in my book, just to be honest with y'all. So that is the end of the meltdown for the M4. Once again, we are still doing the most expensive upper from Palmetto State Armory, which is the PSA Sabry.
I want to quickly take a look at Arrow Precision responding to the meltdown up there. I mean, you gotta respect it. You gotta respect it. Where's the full list of like how high they went? Is there a full list? Or do they not post that anymore? Huge Sugar Weasel.
Hey guys, so they're back with another meltdown review, and today on the channel we're gonna be melting the Daniel
meltdown. Okay, that was the original meltdown. Didn't he used to have a list somewhere? Someone posted the lists in the comments. Okay, there we are. Yeah, so the best performing one was an AR-18 Geisley H-bar. That's not Radian Wad 1. These are all DI guns. Sig Spear LT piston gun. Geisley Super Duty Arrow. So like the better performing ones go over 1,000. I would say that's probably a fair mark to state. Sugar Weasel taps out at 200. So listen, it's still on the lower end realistically with 360 rounds, but it's also 150. It's $150. I'm pretty sure that I spend more on getting food delivered. Hey there, Fagoth. Happy 4th of July. The City of London. No, listen. Here's the thing. I think that it's okay to laugh at the Commonwealthers and the British for the choices they make, but at the same time, I think the majority of British people deserve to live in a good country too. So no, I would actually like to see all Indians deported from the first world. In a box if necessary. All right. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the Saber comes out to. But you know, since we've looked at the most American pursuit in a just world, yeah, exactly. We now have to take a look at the Commonwealth as a reminder of why we should never become them, and that we left for a reason.
Mass shooting in almost 30 years. Right in the heart of Sydney, Australia, by its iconic Bondi Beach, what was supposed to be just a regular religious festival full of joy and celebration quickly turned to horror when two men used an armada of weapons.
Oh yeah. Oh, hold up. What was the race of the men?
Into a bloodbath. In a whirlwind of bullets, they left nothing but bodies, shell casings, and trauma in their wake.
Oh yeah, why wasn't anyone able to shoot back?
Later court documents would reveal they planned the attack.
Hence why you specify London, not London City. Though Sadiq, City of London, not London City. Sadiq Khan and the existence of Hindus would like them. Not to hate the Britishers. See, I like what London used to be. I used to actually live in London City. This guy, you're familiar with this? He's kind of hit and miss. He's had a pretty okay documentary on bodybuilding, but I mean, yeah. You already know.
Months in advance, shooting guns in the wilderness and pledging allegiance to one of the most despicable terror organizations on our planet. But who were the individuals who wanted to martyr themselves for the cause of evil terror? How did the events of that evening transpire? And what were the stories of incredible bravery witnessed along the way? The answers are down under. So just who were the two gunmen on that Bondi Beach footbridge in December of 2025 that the whole world saw through social media? Well, that would be 50-year-old Saeed Akram and his, at the time, 24-year-old son, Naveed. Saeed came to Australia on a student visa in 1998. In 2001, he transferred to a partner visa and eventually obtained official resident return visas. Whilst it was previously unreported where Saeed was from, it was later found that he was originally from Hyderabad in India. His son, Naveed,
oh, and we couldn't tell.
He was born in Australia and thus was born an Australian citizen. And for the longest time, nobody suspected.
It's almost like blanket birthright citizenship is a bad idea.
Affected a thing about them. They were just two members of an otherwise normal family that people saw out and about every day. People went about their lives around them. They didn't peer too closely. But perhaps they should have, because something sinister seemed to be growing in the man and his son. Radicalism. It's unknown who initiated the journey toward radical Islam that put both men squarely on the path to so much destruction and death. Whilst we don't know much about the elder Akram's radicalism, we do have some hints about his son Naveed. Naveed first caught the eye of Australia's intelligence agency all the way back in 2019 as a teenager. He had reportedly been rubbing shoulders with supporters of the Islamic State terror group in Sydney. Now, you all remember ISIS, the head-chopping, video-making, radicalized psychopaths who took over much of Iraq and Syria in 2014.
Wait, what the fuck are these training videos? The incredible bravery of unlimited, unprotected Al-Zoot parties.
Right? Well, they'd since gone international, recruiting individual members through the internet and social media to carry out lone wolf attacks on Western soil. By 2019, though, many people assumed ISIS was more or less doomed. Their caliphate was on the way to being soundly defeated, and whatever passes for order in the Middle East would eventually be restored. But even though ISIS was vanquished in its larger state,
hell yeah,
individual
hey there,
terror
Manny.
cells
How
all
are you
around the
doing?
world still
We're we're pointing and laughing at the Commonwealthers. How are you today, brother?
existed, and so did those who would radicalize into committing serious atrocities. Naveed was close to one member of this group in Sydney at the time, Isaac El-Matari, who was jailed for 7 years back in 2021 for terrorism-related offences. Matari had even previously declared himself the Islamic State's commander in Australia. Even if that was just all bluster, his arrest record shows he was dangerous, and he was the kind of company that Naveed was keeping for a full 6 years prior to the attack on Bondi Beach. It would similarly be later revealed by Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese that 2 of Naveed's accomplices were jailed, but Naveed himself was not seen as a serious threat to anyone at the time and fell off counter-terrorist radar. But at least in some of the time since, he and his father were planning Australia's worst massacre in the 21st century. In November of 2025, 1 month before the attack, both men took a trip to the
Wait, the videos are to spike adrenaline and testosterone when they celebrate Al-Zoot after prayers? Okay, sure.
Philippines, where they stayed for around a month. While there, they reportedly only left their room for short periods of time. Naveed told everyone he was taking the elder Saeed on a fishing trip abroad, but the 2 men may have had more nefarious ideas in mind. The father and son stayed in Mindanao region, which just so happens to be home to the Philippines' Muslim minority within the majority Roman Catholic country. Back in 2017, militants pledging allegiance to the
Wait, the Philippines are a majority Roman Catholics? Okay.
Islamic State, still at its relative height, fought a 5-month-long conflict with the government in the south of the nation. While insurgent activity in the country had been curbed significantly by the time the 2 men went there, it may be that there were still radical individuals within the society willing to pass along a few tips. Some accused the men of going to receive ISIS-backed training from any remnants of the Philippine militia that remained.
The Philippines are Spaniard, Southeast Asian. It's very fair enough, yeah.
But as of right now, there's been no confirmation either way.
Spaniard conquered, sure. I guess, yeah. After the U.S. took it over as a colony, we didn't really do anything with that.
But the timing does seem odd, given that this trip took place just 1 month before the attack. When they returned to Australia, they appeared to carry out some military-style training with firearms in the Australian countryside before making a booking to stay in an Airbnb, a 5-bedroom house located in the southwestern Sydney suburb of Campsie, with the place reserved from the 2nd of December to the 21st. The property was about a 15-minute drive from Bondi Beach. On the 12th, 2 days before the attack, they even parked nearby in Bondi as part of their reconnaissance and planning efforts. CCTV footage caught them scoping out the area that evening, but tragically it was too late by then, because in 2 days' time, there would be a festival held in nearby Archer Park, a small grassy area at the back of Bondi Beach, to commemorate the beginning of the Jewish holiday of Hanukkah, where Jews celebrate.
According to the CIA, Malaysia and Bangladesh are to the Philippines what CARE and the Muslim Brotherhood are to the U.S. Grim.
Winning a battle against the Greeks that allowed them to practice their own religion freely over 2,000 years ago. The event was called Hanukkah by the Sea, and at 5 p.m. on the 14th of December, it began to much fanfare, marking the start of the religious festival. The whole affair is very much popular among Jewish families and their young children. Videos of the event before tragedy struck showed little kids playing amongst bubbles floating in the air and petting rabbits while adults ate good food and socialized. Little did these poor people know
This is what happens to a working man's legs when he wears one pair of compression socks every shift for
was awaiting them. At 2:16 a.m. that morning, CCTV would capture Saeed and Naveed leaving their Airbnb in Campsie and placing weapons underneath blankets inside a 2,000.
They fund and train Islamist militants, but it's very hard to prove concrete links. Fortunately, the Philippines are a very armed society, so hopefully they'll figure out a solution. Perhaps a final solution.
2001 Hyundai Elantra, owned by Naveed. Those weapons included 2 double-barreled shotguns, a Beretta rifle, 3 pipe bombs, 1 tennis ball bomb, 1 large explosive device.
They had bombs as well. Okay. I assume they never worked because, well, 70 IQ subcontinentals.
And 2 Islamic State flags. For good measure, Saeed was licensed to have these firearms, despite Australia's very strict gun laws. He met the eligibility criteria for a recreational hunting license and was thus able to own the guns in question. As children played at the event, which had been advertised on social media, families had picnics on the grass and in the small shelters dotted around the area. More than 1,000 people had gathered at Bondi Beach at the time of the event. People were singing, dancing, banging drums, swimming in the ocean, enjoying each other's company and just being happy. That was until they arrived and all hell broke loose. December the 14th, at approximately 6:40.
See, the thing is, there is unfortunately complacency. It's especially prevalent in Commonwealth countries. They think that, well, it's a disarmed population. We don't really need to harden any event that we participate in because nobody has guns. Nobody's going to do anything. And then some goat fucker pops out of the fucking woodwork because he managed to somehow procure a gun by way of the licensing process or completely subverting it. But even if he's licensed, he's the only one with a gun for miles in every direction now. So what the fuck are you going to do? And that's why you have some of the more checked in, more aware populations actually hardening their events with armed security. And if they were to do the same, this would have been averted. If there were people with guns in the crowd, the death toll would be significantly less.
40 p.m. Saeed and Naveed parked their Hyundai on Campbell Parade, right next to a bridge overlooking the ongoing Hanukkah event. The bridge had
2 spare magazines minimum. Yeah, sure.
A full view of Archer Park and leads onto it. It's actually a very popular walking route from North Bondi to the beach. As the 2 men exited the vehicle, they placed their Islamic State flags in the front and rear windscreen so everyone could clearly see which group the attack was being carried out in the name of. Naveed was dressed in all black and Saeed wore a black shirt and white trousers. Almost immediately, the attack would begin by going wrong for both perpetrators. As the 2 men got out of the car, long guns in hand, 2 members of the public intervened. Boris and Sophia Gurman were a married couple, and upon seeing the guns, they sprang into action. According to dashcam video that emerged after the event, Boris grappled with Saeed and his firearm as both men fell to the ground. The pair even appear to have successfully wrestled Saeed's gun away from him momentarily. Unfortunately, whilst we don't see directly what happened to the Gurmans after this, they would later be announced as dead by police after being fatally shot, potentially by Naveed, who had already taken up an elevated position on the footbridge. Boris and Sophia Gurman would be among the first victims of the attack, and sadly they would...
See, if they had their own guns, they wouldn't have to wrestle for the ones they had. They would have just shot the fucking goat fucker and that's it.
Not be the last. This would also...
Yeah, exactly.
Not be the only time during the Bondi shooting that members of the public bravely stood up to terrorists completely unarmed. Several of the explosive devices the attackers brought with them were then thrown toward the crowd at the Hanukkah event, but they failed to detonate, even despite police later describing them as viable. Had they done so, the number of casualties could have been a lot higher. From here, both men would take up spots on the footbridge and begin shooting at a crowded group of families sitting in Archer Park. They were only around 50 meters or 150 feet from their targets when they started firing, which in terms of long guns might as well have been point blank, especially with the Beretta rifle. Within just 30 seconds of opening fire, the hail of bullets brought upon the crowd by Saeed and Naveed Akram hit 11 people, and 10 of them would lose their lives as a result. It was pure chaos. People along Bondi Beach were running for their lives, whilst families celebrating Hanukkah just minutes before were shielding their children with their own bodies. The elevated position of the footbridge gave the attackers a very clear view towards the people huddled by the shelters, as desperate individuals did anything they could to either hide or flee. Parents had to take precious moments to spot their children in the crowd and drag them away as fast as they could. But every second doing that they would have been in the sights of both men, firing down at and over individuals from their vantage point. It would be about 3 minutes after the men first parked up that emergency calls would start being made, both to New South Wales Police and ambulance services, as bystanders began filming the attack from every possible angle. After the event, police would have a lot of evidence to comb through as footage from multiple angles was gathered. Various videos showed Naveed and Saeed firing from the bridge down towards the people in Archer.
It's a good thing they're not smart enough to brace on the bridge, opted for firing offhand instead. I mean, yeah, 70 IQ subcontinentals, that kind of tracks.
Park while people fled in every direction and gunshots rang out all around them. Churches, bars and restaurants down by Bondi Beach threw open their doors to the terrified masses fleeing the scene. Some people even hid for several hours inside a grocery store's cool room. From the perspective of those running away, they had no idea it was just two gunmen. It could have been an invasion for all they knew. Shortly thereafter,
yeah, and they're completely unarmed. They're completely helpless. What the fuck are you going to do? China is not a very distant neighbor from Australia, by the way. Back when I was doing a lot of hand-to-hand striking, and when I got a lot of my foundational training, my instructor had a very frequent saying: "You are either meat or your teeth, and you get to choose which one you're going to be."
After Saeed left the footbridge and descended one of its staircases, entering Archer Park, seemingly determined to end more lives at even closer range. Meanwhile, Naveed continued to fire at innocent people from the bridge. Occasionally, footage captured Naveed waving at people to run away rather than shooting at them. Perhaps it was to spread terror, or maybe to conserve ammunition, but either way, many people took his advice and fled. As Saeed moved closer to the groups of huddled civilians and fired towards the celebration, our second act of terrorism from the public happened. It came in the form of Ahmed Al-Ahmed, an unarmed shopkeeper who was just getting coffee with his friends nearby when the shooting started. Saeed walked down the edge of Archer Park, right next to where many cars were parked along Campbell Parade. Hiding behind one of them for cover was Ahmed, and when Saeed's back was turned, bystanders filmed him charging the terrorist alone. He lunged at Saeed's arms and neck as the two struggled to wrestle the firearm from one another. Ahmed came out on top. After disarming Saeed, he threatened him with the newly acquired firearm, but
didn't shoot, and let more people die.
Didn't pull the trigger. He ended up placing it against a tree as Saeed stumbled back towards the footbridge to retrieve his other weapon. Ahmed ended up getting shot in the arm, but it's not clear when exactly this happened or which gunman did it. Most likely it was Naveed, still on the footbridge, because as Saeed walked back towards the footbridge himself, a man by the name of Reuven Morrison threw an object at him. Reuven had already stood up and tried to goad the attackers towards him when the shooting began, and unfortunately his bravery cost him his life when Naveed shot him at close range.
Yeah, if only he had something better than throwing a fucking brick.
Both Reuven and Ahmed were close to each other by this point, so it's possible that's when Ahmed got hit in the arm. But moments before Ahmed tackled Saeed and wrestled the gun away, a new and distinct type of gunshot was heard for the first time in any of the videos. You see, different guns make different sounds, and they make different audio waveforms when recorded. After the fact, the police were able to go back and analyze the audio when stitching the timeline together. The two firearms the terrorists used were shotguns and a rifle. But this third shot came from a 9mm handgun, which just so happened to be a typical weapon used by the New South Wales Police. This point, timestamped to a video at around 6:45 p.m, is the first indication that the police had well and truly arrived in force. Saeed was still disarmed at this point. As shots could be heard from the police, he began to walk back up the stairs to the footbridge, rearming himself with the spare long gun upon his arrival. Both men crouched behind the low walls of the footbridge for cover, popping out to shoot at both the festival and the police as they arrived. But he didn't get to use that spare weapon for very long, because at this point the two men were experiencing, for the first time, what happens when people shoot back. As Saeed rose above the wall
Yeah, if only people were able to shoot back at them sooner.
to fire, a shot is heard, and he crumpled to the ground in a heap. We know this because the whole thing's on video. We just obviously can't show it to you. It's believed a detective approaching from the beach side of the bridge landed the shot that killed Saeed. For him, his attack was over, and his martyrdom was secured. All while the shootout was going on, people had still been huddling scared with their young family members, unable to run away because both men were taking pot shots at them. Now, standing above his prone father, Naveed continued to fire southward from the bridge. People in Archer Park were sitting ducks. One survivor, Simon Sorday, was in one such area, getting shot at as he attempted to shield his 1-year-old son from harm. He later said the quote, where they were hiding, was within the line of sight of the gunman. He had a clear shot. There were elderly people sitting on the picnic tables who, due to mobility issues, unfortunately couldn't get down. There was a lot of bloodshed there. a lot of people were hit. One video from within the groups of people being targeted in the attack shows a mother desperately trying to hold her young daughter still so that she wouldn't get up and flee into the gunman's path. The mother, whose name is Chana, was trying to calm her daughter down, but also say goodbye, because she was convinced that they would all soon be killed. She later stated to the media, "I tried to clear the dirt from her mouth and focus on her, and then just tell her that I love her, and I love spending time with her." She was angry and upset, and she asked me, was her face paint ruined? Then she told me, "Mama, it's not safe here." And she was right. It wasn't safe. But the police were doing everything they could to change that as they closed the net on Naveed, moving from cover to cover as they approached with guns drawn. Passers-by, with view of the violence.
You mean, except for that female cop who was on site like a full 10 minutes before that and couldn't do shit because she ran away.
Were even giving advice to the police on when it was safe to move, with them also being targeted by an increasingly desperate Naveed as a result. At 6:50 p.m, Naveed stood up to shoot, but the New South Wales police were prepared this time. He popped up, a volley of gunfire can be heard, and Naveed crumples to the ground. Still alive, but in critical condition, have been struck in the midsection. The first people on the scene, once
How long is this video? What, 10 more minutes?
both gunmen were down, were actually two unarmed bystanders. They approached from different sides, so
Boy, it seems to happen a lot with female cops, then, alright?
confusion broke out among the men seeing each other, and a scuffle ensued because nobody was sure who was an attacker and who wasn't. But finally, the police arrived at the footbridge, swarming it to keep any more of the general public from approaching. The police even started doing CPR on Naveed in the hope that he would answer for his crimes. Members of the public attempted to push through the police on the scene to attack the men themselves. One man ripped his shirt as he ran through before kicking a deceased Saeed in the head. He then had to be restrained by the police. Even if his corpse deserved it, it was still destruction of evidence after all. But finally, it was over. The whole attack, from both men parking up to both of them either being dead or in custody, took just 10 minutes. Just because the attack was over, though, didn't mean that the chaos and trauma were too. Archer Park looked like a war zone, according to one witness. People were trying to do CPR on family members and patch wounds.
The Dick Wilson shooting video was like 3 minutes tops.
Others were covered in blood.
Is it the same channel? I'm not aware of the Dick Wilson video off the top of my head. Which one is that?
Medical teams arrived. More than 100 ambulance officers were on scene after the attack, and ambulances took 42 people from Bondi Beach to different hospitals across Sydney. Many of them were left in critical condition by the shooting and would spend the next days and weeks fighting for their lives in hospital. Meanwhile, various
Oh, would be. Okay, fair enough. Which one is the Dick Wilson one?
clubs down the beach were providing first aid to anyone who needed it. Finally, police were able to set up a perimeter and get to the bottom of just what exactly had happened, announcing one attacker to be dead and another in critical condition. What had just transpired was Australia's deadliest mass shooting in almost 30
Fagoth, keep your glowing to a tasteful minimum so that I don't have to moderate you, please.
years. The last one was the Port Arthur mass
Dick Wilson was one of the on-site security in Texas who domed this Joker with a shotgun in church. Ah, that's true. Okay, now I remember.
where 35 people were mercilessly gunned down by Martin Bryant in 1996. The digital forensic evidence alone from Bondi captured 108 shots fired by the attackers in such a short time. Naveed fired 60.
I mean, the video on the shooting that was thwarted by Elijah Dickens would also be like a minute long. Oh yeah, like the twink walks out of the bathroom, cracks a couple of shots, and then gets domed by an absolute fucking square-jawed Giga Chad from across the food court.
51 shots in just under 6 minutes. Saeed fired 21 over 4.5, and the police fired 26.
Rather deal with a hoodlum with a gun or a female cop with a gun. Hoodlum every time. Every time. Hoodlum with a gun every time.
After they arrived. It might have looked like a war zone, but for the residents of Bondi during that time, it would have sounded like one too. Unfortunately, 15 people would be killed during the attack, not including Saeed. Boris and Sophia Gurman were both 61. Reuven Morrison was 62. Among the casualties were a 10-year-old girl, a rabbi, and an 87-year-old Holocaust survivor. Alex Klaitman immigrated to Australia from Ukraine years ago after World War II. It's not lost on anyone that Alex survived the horrors of the Third Reich firsthand, only to be killed by similarly anti-Semitic beliefs 8 decades later. The victims...
It's almost like importing a population who was allied with Hitler is not a great idea.
Actually show a cross-section of Australia.
Would it be poor for him to ask police? Would it be poor form to ask police not to let the female officer disarm you? I would probably say that too. I would probably ask for a male officer to take my gun with the holster, please. A female hoodlum with a gun who stole it from the trans cop. Okay, calm down.
Australian society, just going about their day. They were innocent people who mattered, and they didn't deserve to be...
Excuse me, do not touch me. I need a male officer. You start showing off the photo of Shondo you have in your wallet. Do not touch me, whore.
gunned down in cold blood in the name of the Akram's twisted dogma. It would be around 8 p.m. on the night of the shooting when police raided the Akram's home in Bonnyrigg, running into the extended Akram clan in the process, who knew nothing about.
You pull out your wallet to show off the photo of your real wife, and it's just a fold-out of, like, every girl's frontline gun.
The attack. It was there that they learned about the Airbnb in Campsie, where the had stayed in the days before. Shortly after learning more details about the pair's motivations, police officially declared the attack a terrorist incident that deliberately targeted the Jewish community.
You've seen what happens when disarmed by a cop, and you would prefer to not get shot in the thigh with your own pistol. I carry appendix. That shit is terrifying. Thankfully, most cops in Texas don't even really bother, especially given that I have an LTC. Most of them will just wave me off and, have a nice day. But your safest option is to ask them to just remove the entire holster with the gun, because that also prevents the serial number on your gun from being in plain view. Therefore, them attempting to run the serial number without your consent would be a Fourth Amendment violation. Did I see the Hindu DEI video of them dancing around saying, no, I did not. Bramix. Thank you for that, Manny. I think we needed a new slur for them. Bramix. It was Bramix. Let's call them Bramix. I think that's funnier.
When searching the Hyundai Elantra that both men had driven into the scene, registered to Naveed, police discovered the rest of the improvised explosive devices the pair had prepared. Bomb disposal experts were quickly summoned, and within a short time, all devices were defused. It appears the bombs may not have been made with the utmost sophistication and engineering prowess, given that the whole point of a bomb is to blow up, and well, none of them did. That night, just after 10, Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese addressed the nation, condemning the attack as, quote, an act of evil, anti-Semitism, terrorism that has struck the heart of our nation.
Interesting how the reaction from the Australian government was to crack down on hate speech online and not crack down on the fucking Muslims.
The investigation didn't take long to connect the two men to ISIS, given the flags in the car and Naveed's previous acquaintances. As footage from the shooting poured in across social media, New South Wales police were tasked with gathering all the pieces together, filmed from different perspectives and angles. Dashcams and CCTV were scoured, as were videos taken by random passers-by, and even those who were actively being shot at. All in all, this may have been one of the most highly witnessed terror attacks of the modern era, with police stitching together data from 80 different points of view in order to reconstruct the events of those 10 minutes. Between that, witness statements, physical evidence, DNA, and more, the New South Wales force certainly had a lot of work on their hands. And part of that work was looking after their public relations. In the immediate aftermath of the attack, New South Wales Police was criticised for its preparation and response. It took the police around 5 minutes after the two men got out of the car to arrive.
Where's that video of the female cop running away? I want that. Let's look at that.
And start returning far, despite there being a police station just around half a kilometre from the footbridge where most of the shooting happened. The Akrams probably couldn't have gotten much closer to a police station if they tried. There were reportedly 4 police officers in the vicinity of Archer Park when the shooting began, and yet it took multiple minutes and 15 deaths before the police engaged the suspects. There was also an internal investigation.
It's almost as if police in disarmed societies are complacent and incompetent and very poorly trained. See Australia, see England, see Canada.
Over the decision to not have a static police presence at the event, instead opting for a rotating presence, which left it vulnerable when the police weren't there. New South Wales police were criticised.
Demolition Man wants their cops back. See, Demolition Man is an actual high-trust society. kind of fucking soyed out and softened, sure, but it's a real high-trust society, not a delusional longhouse society.
For not seeing greater warning signs in the community for a terror attack on a Jewish event, given that anti-Semitic incidents in Sydney had increased significantly in the years leading up to the attack. In fact,
I have to go food in here. You're getting sleepy. Thank you for checking in, Danzavar, and thank you for the raid.
Several individuals had specifically asked the police to have a static presence at the event, but the police denied the request, citing stretched resources. The blame game over who made the call is ongoing, and the broader investigation is still looking into whether one should have been considered necessary at the time. It's hard to know if that was even considered, however, because there was not even a threat assessment done by the police for the event in the first place. During the investigation into the pair who carried out the attack, court documents released in late December revealed that the two had planned it meticulously and over multiple months. This would explain the Airbnb stay, the trip to the Philippines, the improvised explosive devices, and the ISIS flags. Not exactly things you have with you on a whim. Beyond this, police later found a video on Naveed's phone from late October showing the two men training, firing shotguns in the countryside and practicing tactical movements. Police also found another video showing both Naveed and Saeed dressed in black t-shirts in front of an Islamic State flag, surrounded by firearms and ammunition. In the video, Naveed appears to recite a passage from the Quran in Arabic. Then both men allegedly talk about their motivation for the attack they were seen to carry out. They frame it as an attack on Zionism and resistance against the acts of Zionists. All it led to was the death.
I can't fathom the idea that I'm unintentionally bleaching my vagine,
of innocent people. Some of them not even
You want to call it meticulous and they didn't test that the explosives in the outback? Again, 70 IQ subcontinentals, please understand.
Jewish. And unfortunately, people wouldn't just show their ugly sides during the attack, but after it as well. Do you remember Ahmed al-Ahmed, the shopkeeper who disarmed Saeed and then got shot in the arm, the hero of Bondi, who...
Yeah, but he also ended up not really doing anything because he could have stopped the attack then and there by doming him.
Charged down an armed gunman, received considerable public attention after the attack, described as an exemplary citizen who went above and beyond what any civilian should ever have to do. He spent some time in hospital, having surgery for his gunshot wound, and spoke to the media about his decision not to shoot Saeed when he had him squarely in his sights, saying he just didn't want the gunman to kill anyone else. But soon, the hero of Bondi, as he has since been dubbed, would find himself in a spot of bother. Ahmed's actions had resonated with support from across the nation and beyond, resulting in people raising around $1.8 million on his behalf in a very short amount of time. Turns out if you disarm a terrorist, people tend to think rather positively of you. Well, at least most people would see it that way. Those who didn't included Ahmed's brothers, Hasifa al-Ahmed and Samer al-Ahmed, both of whom came to stay with Ahmed after the attack. But after the relationship gradually broke down, Ahmed was forced to move, and then the men attempted to extort their brother for some of his donations, at which point he went to the police. Hasifa allegedly said, quote, "I will pull your head under my boot, break your other arm, and smash your face. We'll only leave if you give us $100,000 each." His other brother called him to make a similar demand, again asking for $100,000 each in exchange for the end of their extortion.
Vegas, what the fuck did you post in chat? What is that link to? The hell is a knitter? This is I'm not looking at that on stream. Sorry. Use normal. No, you know what? Yeah, let me fix that for you real quick. Don't post strange fucking links in my chat. How about that one?
Later to say, they did not get any significant amount of Ahmed's donated money. You also had the camera incident. One of the official photographers at the Hanukkah event that day was one Peter Mager, and unfortunately, he was one of the victims of the attack who lost his life. As it turns out, another photographer documenting the event had wandered onto the scene amidst the chaos and stolen Peter's camera before police had a chance to grab it for evidence. Peter's wife made a call to the media to have the camera returned, as it would be one of the few heirlooms of her late husband's that she would have left. As it turns out, the petty thief tried to pawn the camera in the days following the shooting, but he was eventually tracked down, arrested, and charged.
It's a video of the subcontinental Burminks you mentioned. Good. Find the video on a real platform, please.
And Naveed Akram Well, he spent several weeks in Long Bay Prison Hospital before being taken to Goulburn Supermax Prison, Australia's detention facility reserved for only the highest risk inmates. He was facing 59 charges.
What is the concentration of Muslims in that prison?
Including 15 counts of murder, 40 counts of attempted murder, and 1 count of committing a terrorist act. And he actually...
For Ahmad's standard Bronze Age brothers. Steve, again, my sympathy for him is very limited because he had the shooter right in front of him with a gun trained on him. You could have just ended that entire affair by canoeing his fucking head.
Received even more charges filed in April 2026. Naveed's legal case is ongoing, but whatever happens, he's likely to be going to prison for quite some time. If you're watching this video when it comes out in mid-2026, he's due back in court in August. It remains to be seen just how long his sentence will be, but there's every chance the courts are gonna throw the book at him. New South Wales does life without the possibility of parole, and most of the people on that very short list in Australia killed fewer people than Naveed did. As for
Yes, X.com, also known as Twitter, counts as a real platform.
Australia as a whole, the incident has proven to be decisive when it comes to firearm laws, just like Port.
Much better. Let me quickly pre-watch. Let's see. Alright, okay, that's funny. I will allow it. Is there music?
That's okay! I'm transgender! That's okay! That's okay! I am a CD! That's okay! I am That's okay! I am intersex! That's okay! I am non-binary! That's okay! You are
truly Bruminks. Totally slightly gayer than your baseline Indian, though.
Arthur 3 decades prior. Just like back then, the Australian government has proposed strict reforms to its already stringent gun laws, including placing limits on the number of guns that can be used or licensed by individuals, and regular reviews of those licenses.
Oh joy, oh joy. So a couple of subcontinentals shoot up your population and your response is, well, I guess we need to legislate even harder.
Licenses as well. The terror threat level was also raised in the aftermath of the shooting. So, what did we learn from this pointless massacre of innocent people? Well, the Bondi shooting showcased the best and worst of humanity. On the one hand, you have 2 men who committed a horrible atrocity, a slow police response resulting in people pointing fingers at each other and more needless death, and people seeking to exploit and steal from the victims. It's tempting to look back and conclude that humanity just kind of sucks. But there's more to it than that. On the other hand, Bondi showed us the best of humanity. You had individuals willing to put their lives on the line for people they didn't even know. You had people offering help and first aid to the injured all up and down the beach, and you had people shielding family members with their own...
Hey there, Gecko. We're looking at the helpless and toothless state of England. Happy 4th of July, brother. How are you celebrating today?
If you care
we're
about
not going to delve into the black pills today, so we're going to stick to the positives.
As George Washington sat revving his
Well, Australia in this case, yeah. God bless America, sir. Hey there, Seku in the YouTube chat. How are you doing today?
V6 250 horsepower engine.
In Japan too, true. Bless all branches of Pax Americana.
Literally drive.
I regret to inform you that you're going to have to play nice with the Israelis as well.
Circles around the British.
All right, let me take this from the start.
George Washington sat revving his V6 250 horsepower engine after literally driving circles around the British Army at Yorktown. He would spit out a sentence to Lord Cornwallis that would thrive through the remainder of America's existence. Stay strapped or get clapped. Hi, I'm Doc Udubbery, the passenger side chair historian, and today we are going to be looking into the American fight for independence, and that fight's dependence on the most important car in Western history. And no, I don't mean this kind of car history, although we do cover that kind of car history on this channel.
What the hell is this video?
George Washington is perhaps best known for having fake teeth and a questionable moral character, but did you know he also helped found the United States and even served as its first president? Named after...
You're doing tired and annoyed, and now you're going to work until 8 a.m. Well, I mean, someone has to, but, you know, thank you for staying on post during a holiday so that the rest of us can celebrate.
the city
We're planning on playing games with friends. I mean, that is a perfectly good 4th of July activity. I did a 1-mile run in my plate carrier with a flag, so that was fun. I've reminded all of the paperwork Americans that they are not welcome here. And after almost cooking myself with said plates, Oni wife made some burgers, and we're going to watch fireworks today.
Of Washington, D.C., George Washington was not only a 6-foot dude making six figures, but he was also one of the few people in America who saved for retirement and owned an automobile. George Washington was the proud owner of a 2009 Dodge Challenger with off-roading capabilities and a 3.5-liter engine. Naturally, being a significant historical artifact, this muscle car has made several appearances on Pawn Stars. When George Washington wasn't busy starting multinational global conflicts that would last for a minimum of 7 years, he would do some car-related heists, spend time with his family, and wait for the day his country needed him. That day would come in the mid-1770s when the Continental Breakfast Club called up George Washington to defend the United States from paying its fair share in taxes. George took up the call to arms, driving his Dodge Challenger to New England, where he would take command of the US Army and fight the British IRS. By all accounts, George Washington was an unconventional military leader, to say the least. While his British adversaries preferred volley fire and marching in lines, Washington preferred to use his Dodge Challenger to either screen for a withdrawal or an attack. When it came to breaking the British naval blockade at
If the crossing the frozen Delaware in a Dodge Challenger is not mentioned once in this video, I am going to be very displeased.
Boston, George was able to halt cannons from Fort Ticonderoga to Massachusetts in record time, using nothing but his Dodge Challenger. With his Challenger, he could quickly move troops, messages, conduct
That's a Chrysler, my guy.
flanking maneuvers, and even do a couple Grubhub runs to help finance the war effort. Every time it appeared the Continental Army would be destroyed by the better equipped and trained British Army, Washington would use his Dodge Challenger to conduct an orderly Uber retreat, keeping his army from being destroyed. Eventually, this tactic would wear down the British so much that they finally relented and granted America independence, a decision that would eventually cost them trillions of dollars. And that, my friends, is exactly how America came to be. Now, for those of you looking to judge George Washington for driving a gas-powered car, keep in mind he was a product of his era, and electric cars had yet to be invented. A shout out to my patrons.
I am mildly upset. The attack at Trenton was so fucking perfect. A full report should be in the Louvre as printed art. I'm sorry, the French would perish from that amount of baseness concentrated in one place. Hey, what is this? This E-Safety Commissioner now wants the power to prevent ratios? What the hell?
The other things I asked for, which I think has been noted by the government, is something called a notification power. And that's important because the adult cyber abuse as it's constructed now is so specific. As you know, it doesn't cover groups of people or a person because they are part of a group. But it also only requires you to look at that specific tweet. Many of these tweets or posts have terrible, insulting, ugly comments underneath. It may be cross-platform. And so what I've asked for is something called a notification power. So if there's a pylon, if there's a brigade, if it's meant to be an avalanche of online hate, we put the onus back on the platform to say, this Australian is being targeted. We expect you to protect their account and take action against all of those people that you can see. You can see all the signals. You can see it on your dashboard, whether it's you know, just suspend them or you take them away. That would be very helpful and more representative of how online abuse manifests against that we've seen against members of the Jewish community here.
How is cyberbullying even real? Just turn off the screen, my neighbor. Just walk away. Just walk away from the computer, my guy. Exactly. There you go. We have the technology. just turn off the screen.
Heart health, this is a non-negotiable. I'm Chris Holt. I'm a certified fat loss coach and an open...
The folks that used artificial...
All right, this is big. I have not pre-watched the video because I want to see Dr. Mike finally admit that alcohol sugars are actually bad for you.
Sweeteners the most in this study had the most cognitive decline. How could sweeteners cause... Hey folks, Dr. Mike here for RP Strength, and I have a question for you. Are artificial sweeteners making you dumber? They sure made me... No, I was dumb before. So many of us consume artificial sweeteners, and most of us assume that they are healthy. And for body health, this is very well vetted. But what about brain health?
You mean except for when I eat a little bit too much sucralose and then it demolishes my digestion for like a full week? Okay.
Are we destroying our brains with these chemicals tonight? News at 11. Why are we talking about this? A massive study just came out. Goncalves et al. The study title is Association Between Consumption of Low and No Calorie Artificial Sweeteners and Cognitive Decline, an 8-year prospective study in the Journal of Neurology. You don't just publish BS in that journal. Published in 2025. It's very, very recent. 8 years, 12,000 people included in the study.
Inspired by a champion three-gunner, the Upranger changes the game. Officially named the pack of the 2025 Precision Rifle Series, the Upranger excels in organization, durability, customization, and modularity. Built to be the ultimate range bag, the Upranger features a proprietary hard polycarbonate base that keeps your gear dry and protected from the ground, no matter the conditions. Its unique loading and unloading system from the back allows...
I don't like the organizing partitions. It doesn't take an ammo can.
For quicker access to the main compartment. Inside, you'll find Velcro panels that you can customize to partition off.
Okay, I can remove them fine.
Different size sections, creating a mobile range locker on your back. This design has made the Upranger a trusted choice for thousands of competitive long-range shooters during their matches. The removable side wing panel...
I guess, yeah, if you're doing long-range shooting, you need to haul that shit along with you. Fair.
The folks that used artificial sweeteners the most in this study had the most cognitive decline.
You could just use your 3-day USMC assault pack. Yeah, pretty much.
The sweeteners examined included aspartame, or Scott, as one of my friend's acquaintances said, aspartame.
Oh, that's nice.
It's fine. Saccharin, acesulfame K, acesulfame potassium, erythritol, xylitol, sorbitol, and tagatose, which I've never heard.
No sucralose. Interesting.
Sounds fun. The paper reported associations for most of these with cognitive decline, except for tagatose, which just go out and buy tagatose stock. Don't do that yet. Don't do that yet. Hold on. So is the cause established? Is it artificial sweeteners in this study cause cognitive decline? The answer is no. This study design cannot establish cause and effect. It can only establish correlations, aka associations. Because no variables were purposefully altered and others maintained the same for us to be able to infer cause and effect. A while back, another study found that artificial sweetener consumption was correlated with higher body weights, which led some people to conclude that artificial sweeteners actually cause body weight gain. And the naturalistic fallacy folks just like, this was the greatest thing that ever happened. They were like, see, told you, see. But it turns out every time we ran an experimental study where we gave one group artificial sweeteners and the other group not giving them artificial sweeteners, the artificial sweeteners group lost just as much weight, sometimes more weight, than the group that wasn't given them. And so it turned out that it was just correlationary. And the reason it was correlated is because.
So you just heard the study is dog shit? Which one?
When you look at population size cohorts, guess who does more diet products? People trying to lose weight. Guess who's trying to lose weight? Fat people. So when you look at who uses artificial sweeteners more, fatter people use them more because skinny people don't give a. So it was backwards. A great example when you think a study shows something, but it's actually backwards. But it makes you think maybe there's a cause.
The first one, he said they never shifted variables and proved causation. So the bin you want, what a waste of 8 years. Let's look at the takeaways, okay? Well, there's probably something we can glean from the data at the very least.
Here. So how could sweeteners cause cognitive decline if that really is what's going on? First, the gut, microbe, and brain axis. This is probably the strongest idea for a shared pathway. Sweeteners have been demonstrated to alter gut bacteria and brain signaling pathways. This is definitely a thing. It doesn't prove anything, but gut bacteria could be a mechanism. Another one was metabolic dysregulation. If a sweetener worsens glucose control or insulin signaling in some people, it could hurt brain health indirectly. But this one's tough because most sweeteners just don't affect in humans glycemic control whatsoever. In animals, they can sometimes do that, but not in humans. Okay. Another one that was interesting to me is inflammation, specifically neural inflammation. This comes up mostly, but not only with aspartame, which it does have some studies linking sweeteners to oxidative stress, inflammation, mitochondrial problems, and even neurotransmitter changes. For aspartame, the suspected issue is often its breakdown products. But the direct research on here hasn't been super supportive. And for erythritol and xylitol and other sugar alcohols, it may be a cerebrovascular and endothelial situation. Because some studies found that more platelet activity and clotting potential was a thing after the intake of these artificial sweeteners. And erythritol may also impair tiny blood vessels in the brain from operating properly over time that could plausibly affect cognition. And that sounds really, really bad, but hold on a second. Because other things may be going on and almost certainly are. First, there's a phenomenon in science called the file drawer effect. A large fraction of the file drawer effect looks like this. Scientists do all kinds of studies. Some of them show the kinds of effects that would be like really worthy to publish.
Guess that's why they didn't discuss sucralose, I guess.
Like stuff happened. But then other studies will be conducted, and sometimes you conduct a study to test like 8 or 9 different things. You can publish a bunch of papers off of that study. But some of the variables just don't change, like there's no effect. And you typically don't, on average, people don't like to publish papers that say nothing changed, nothing happened. And so if you have a study, a meta-study that's done that studies 10 variable changes and only 3 variables change, you might get papers, one paper each on each one of the 3 things that changed. You might get a synthesis paper for the 3 things that changed. And they might say, hey, by the way, these other things didn't change, but you're not going to get an independent paper on each one of those things that didn't change. This is a very well-documented phenomenon. It happens all the time. It's happening less and less slowly.
Looking to get jacked, man, boy?
I'm just looking for some clean protein.
Clean?
But it's still a big problem. To that end, there are oodles and oodles of studies which have this file drawer effect phenomenon. And it ends up being that what is really going on, we don't see because we're only fronting what is interesting. It's like social media. People post their best pictures and you think everyone looks like that all the time, but that's not true. And so there's probably a lot of research where they couldn't show artificial sweeteners doing diddly dick and it just never got published because it's not interesting to anyone. And so we finally have a study.
Well, I wouldn't go that far because if you can produce a well-done research that shows that, common non-nutritive sweeteners are benign, you could actually get a lot of backing for that kind of research because the food industry still relies on them pretty heavily.
Study, maybe by chance, that shows artificial sweeteners are doing bad things, that gets published instantly because holy shit, that's big news. There is another situation where you say, okay, it's dysbiosis, it's inflammation, right? It turns out there are loads of studies that show that proteins, carbs, fats, and damn near everything else, in some instances, will cause dysbiosis and inflammation. And so, man, if that many things cause dysbiosis and metabolic dysregulation and inflammation in a bunch of different studies, like, how does that make artificial sweeteners unique?
Listen, if I can provably induce GI distress in myself by consuming something that has sucralose, it is very obviously fucking with my gut microbiome. And if there is a gut microbiome brain access, well, damn, I probably don't want to fuck with that potential risk factor for my cognitive health.
And by the way, they don't cause all these things in the vast majority of studies, just in some studies here and there, which is why all those other mechanisms I listed were just plausible mechanisms, not likely mechanisms. The other thing is this: if you measure enough endpoints in cells, rodents, stool samples, cytokines, metabolites, receptors, and gene expression panels, you can make almost any exposure look really gnarly. Animal research reviews specifically flag selective analysis, biased outcome reporting, and publication bias as reasons effects get chronically overstated from testing anything and seeing how it affects anything else. So yes, gut bacteria changed or oxidative stress marker moved or inflammatory pathway twitched is often a hypothesis.
Yeah, that's why you have p-values that are going to indicate whether a documented change is statistically relevant.
Hypothesis generator, like, oh, this is a cool idea, let's study it more, rather than, hey, this thing for sure is caused by this. The mechanisms of how artificial sweeteners...
Heading out next week for Mega Mewtwo raids. I dropped Pokemon Go. I'm sorry. It got a little boring. I maybe will play a little bit. I'll see. I'll see if it's a raid I can duo. Maybe we'll fuck with it. I'll take Oni-Wife to do those. Going once in a while is okay. I should have a batch of Shadow Gengars that should have pretty respectable DPS. If Mega Mewtwo is soloable, then definitely.
Might affect health is not the same thing as strong evidence that they do affect health. Here's the real kicker. There's a few other ones that are even bigger deals for why we should be looking at the study with a bit of reservation.
Hey there, Garm.
Directly from this study, the folks in this study who used more artificial sweeteners and thus had more cognitive decline, also statistically had more of a chance of the following things. This one's going to kill you guys. Quite literally, if you had these. Being diabetic, having a higher body mass index and more body...
Happy best day of the year. You can say it, Garm. You're in a safe space. You can just say happy 4th of July.
Body fat, having higher blood pressure.
Are they not allowing you to celebrate that in California anymore?
Having a higher incidence of diabetes, which leads to cognitive decline, by the way. Had a higher consumption of ultra-processed snack foods and more alcohol use. But, Scott, we know alcohol use doesn't cause cognitive decline, of course. No. It's not literally brain poison.
You want to acknowledge that today is the best day of the year? You know what? You're so right for that. I'm sorry about that. Say your truth, King.
No big deal. Also, more of these people than not were shown to be actively dieting to try to improve their health, which is another way of saying that they were assess themselves to be in poor health to begin with. It's weird that people who are in poor health at the beginning of an 8-year-long study have cognitive decline through the remainder of the study, because most of them won't be successful in improving their health, because most people are not successful in improving their health because they don't stick to diets or workout regimens.
Okay, but here's again, it's a failure of the study to measure that, but what if we had a population that was trying to improve their health throughout those 8 years, and along with interventions like limiting your calories and doing exercise and excluding alcohol, what if we added excluding non-nutritive sweeteners and replacing them with just full sugar and seeing what kind of effect that would give you? Thank you.
Strange how that works. This screams reverse causality, like the older weight gain studies with artificial sweeteners, where it was just the fat people using them, so it looked like they made people fat. Now it's the people in really, really poor health using them, and it's like, surprise, they have one of the down.
But wait, but the weight gain studies aren't really that. Yes, okay, the fat people are using the sweeteners, but it means that the fat people are switching to non-nutritive sweeteners in an attempt to lessen their caloric intake, and the effects of non-nutritive sweeteners on appetite are such that they still eat more, in which would indicate that, yeah, the fucking sucralose and aspartame, while not adding direct caloric load, still expose you to unhealthy behaviors and therefore indirectly cause weight gain.
Downstream consequences of poor health, which is a degeneration of neural function. The World Health Organization explicitly cautioned.
Nobody gives a fuck about what the World Health Organization thinks. Ghebreyesus is not a real MD doctor, and he is also a Chinese sock puppet.
That evidence linking non-sugar sweeteners to bad long-term outcomes may be confounded by baseline participant characteristics and complex pattern of use. The UK SACN,
also nobody gives a fuck what the UK thinks,
went even more bluntly about this and said that observational studies of sweeteners are highly vulnerable to reverse causality, the same thing we've been talking about, and residual confounding, other factors being responsible, because people may choose sweetened diet products because they are overweight or at metabolic risk, rather than the products creating the problem. Scott, we can have a good study that shows that casts break people's legs.
Yeah, that sounds good.
I mean, everyone I've ever seen with a cast had a broken leg. I'm starting to think, hey, Mr. Cast.
Sure, but the fucking leg didn't break after the cast was applied, though, didn't it?
Where were you on the night of the 15th? It's like, oh, I swear to God, it wasn't even real yet. That sounds like make-believe bullshit to me. Scott, and then Mr. Cast, the police don't, like, put him in jail. They just beat the shit out of him.
Jesus.
Brutally. Oh, God. Oh, my God. You break the cast, the whole thing. Here's the real shit. Association studies are hypothesis generating, get ideas, and then we actually study them in randomized controlled trials where we manipulate very carefully certain variables to see how it affects others so we can get a direct cause and effect understanding. So you may ask yourself the question of, well, what do those studies say about artificial sweeteners and health? Well, here's some sampling. A 2025 meta-analysis of 9 randomized controlled trials comparing artificially sweetened beverages with unsweetened beverages found no significant differences in weight, waist circumference, fasting glucose, HbA1c, or glycosylated hemoglobin, it's an index of how diabetic you are, insulin resistance, lipid profiles, or blood pressure. Okay, so all of these inflammatory and gut dysbiotic and metabolic dysregulatory mechanisms that are imbued on these sweeteners should be doing something. And
not necessarily. If you just mess your gut microbiome to the extent that it causes you to shit yourself, you're not really going to see it pop up on any of your health panels for quite a while.
They're absent when you actually look at direct cause and effect analysis. And
you're still more leaning towards the health freaks, you know. Listen, I'm sticking to fucking full sugar. I can tank the calories. I would rather just not fuck with the magical mumbo jumbo juice.
Earlier 2022 systematic review and meta-analysis of 17 randomized controlled trials found that using low or no calorie sweetened beverages instead of sugar sweetened beverages improved body weight and some cardiometabolic risk factors along with that without any evidence of harm.
Or I could be an adult and just drink 1 glass bottle of Coke every week and, not overeat and exercise. That's also a thing I could do.
That's a big deal. There is also a 1-year-long trial. I love the acronyms for this, are amazing. It's called the SWEET trial, SWEET. It's a randomized trial, and it found slightly better weight loss and maintenance with sweeteners and sweetness enhancers than without, and no worsening of cardiometabolic risk markers. even though in those studies gut microbiota changed. So the gut microbiomes changed. It didn't affect seemingly any other part of their health spectrum, and they actually had more success.
Especially after Monster Ultras started making you sick, they greatly reduced the erythritol and added sucralose. Interesting. So you were having less of a reaction to erythritol than you were to sucralose. I don't know. Sucralose just... Okay, I mean, sorry for present company if you're eating, but it just blows my ass clean out. Like, I can have a protein bar once a day that has sucralose in it. I'll be fine. If I drink a protein shake with sucralose in it, that is it. It's fucking curtains.
Using artificial sweeteners than not using them. Over the course of a year, you would think you would pick up something. And a reminder here is that randomized controlled trials are a category level stronger of evidence than cohort association studies like this 8-year-long.
Sorry, somewhat related tangent. I am currently dosing myself with imported natto to offset the potential damage done to my gut microbiome by sweeteners. Which, the reason why I'm using natto is that actually the Japanese use quite a fucking bit of very bad sweeteners in their day-to-day diets. Not the traditional stuff, but like, you know, the regular sort of quality of life shit that you can get in your konbinis. All of your fucking Eyo drinku, the energy drinks, the nutrient drinks, the jelly packs, they're fucking chock full of that shit. And for some reason, the Japanese seem to be tanking those. Shouldn't Japan have an excellent climate for sugarcane? I wouldn't know. Possibly. I would assume that they make some. Imagine how fucked South Korea is with their sugar alternatives. But also kimchi. That's probably another component of how they control for it. I guess you just need to have a certain concentration of fermented foods in your diet in order to be able to tank that shit.
12,000 participant study was. So if we're looking at the best kind of direct
Stomach biome Japan, apparently, listen, all I know is that when was that? That was in 24, I think, when I I spiked my testosterone a little too high with some herbal remedies, and I started breaking out because, well, I am a sweaty motherfucker. So I ate natto for a week, and it completely cleared my back. There you go. Anecdotal evidence. I understand. Anecdata. No controlled studies. Paper. Source. But the source is that I made it the fuck up. Cry about it.
Research. It shows that there's no reason to suspect that artificial sweeteners cause cognitive decline. And we already know diabetes, higher BMI, and all that other stuff those folks have absolutely do cause cognitive decline. Never mind the alcohol.
You've wanted to try natto for a long time. If you have... What's... Let me try to quickly Google to see if I will dox myself by giving you a store chain name. Just a second. Oh yeah, there's a shit ton of those. So H Mart, it's originally a Korean grocery store chain. So H Mart carries natto. I think Daiso also carries natto if you can find any. So look for those. Or any sort of Japanese imported foods store. It's usually in the frozen food section. You trust anecdotal experience from someone you respect way more than some retard who read a Reddit article? Fair enough. But again, I understand that that's probably a niche example. Yeah, one of those across the street, you'll hunt that down. H Mart is great, honestly. They got those in Wisconsin. I don't know. I don't know what a Midwestern accent sounds like. Wisconsin. Where the fuck even is Wisconsin? All right, let's see. H Mart. Well, let's see. Sure, they have those in California. They have one in Colorado. They got a number of those in Texas. They got one in Orlando. Okay. Who the fuck is this? Manhattan. I mean, just look for Asian import store. H Mart Chicago. Lovely land of snow, local brewery, booze, cheese, and sausage. That sounds great. But sadly, they do not have an H Mart. Oh, there it is. I mean, if you feel like driving over to Chicago, I guess there's Naperville and then there's Chirac. That's your closest fucking H Mart. I'm kidding. Wisconsin is great. Wisconsin cheese is great. But yeah, no Asian stores though. Japanese grocery store. Let's give me Wisconsin. Global Market Food Hall, A Mart Asian Store, Lee's Oriental. You're gonna have to look around for it. If you don't feel like going all the way to Chirac, yeah, you're probably gonna have to look around for these. I've not been able to find any places that sell natto online just because the storage is kind of difficult. You eat a lot of fermented stuff, including fermented beans, but natto filtered the shit out of you. Listen, I never claimed that it's good in terms of taste profile. Fresh natto a little better when it's unfrozen. It has like that bitter undertone to it. Just tank it. Just be a fucking man and eat your fucking veggies. Smell is what destroys you. The skill issue, sorry. Like, I've gotten past eating exclusively things I like. Just, you need to, I think the tech is you're supposed to stir it for it to release all of the goo, and then you apply the sauces and the mustard to it, and it softens the blow significantly, and then you just pour it over some fresh rice and mix it in, and then you just eat it and try not to notice it as hard as possible. Fresh natto, I was actually I wouldn't say that it was good, okay? That would be a fucking lie if I were to say that I enjoyed eating fresh natto. But eating fresh natto in Japan did not cause discomfort, is all I'm going to say, which is probably an indication of me getting old.
All consumption.
Madison is a liberal stronghold, and for pretentious picks, many such cases.
So should you stop consuming artificial sweeteners? I assess that the probability that artificial sweeteners, especially from so many different classes, because they're very, very different kinds of drugs, cause cognitive decline is very low. And that's just because I'm scared to have cognitive decline and I eat a ton of sweeteners. Case closed. Just kidding. The probability that excess calories from sugar that lead to obesity cause cognitive decline is almost 100%.
Okay, sure, just don't consume excess calories then.
We know this for a fact. Now, this study might be on to a real cause, and so consuming measured amounts of artificial sweeteners may be better than consuming infinite, unlimited amounts for folks that read this and are a little bit put off, a little bit more risk averse.
Imagine catching a heart attack 2 weeks before it happens.
But consuming less of the super unhealthy ultra-processed snack foods is probably the real insight, if anything. If artificial sweeteners for you help with sweetness cravings and allow you to consume fewer calories because of it and hit your diet goals, keeping weight in the healthy range, this is a huge deal and almost certainly overpowers any of the other kind of effects these substances might have negatively on your health. And again, it's by no means clear they do. And
I feel like these studies are usually targeted at people who are retarded. Like, clearly, if you know proper diet and exercise, clearly this can't be a problem. Garm, how should I put this? 0.01% of the global population is able to bench 225. That's all I'm going to tell you.
All of the direct studies say they probably don't. Metabolic syndrome and its associations of diabetes and obesity are proven causes of cognitive decline. Straight up. And so we already know where to work there. My best recommendation for this reason is to stay the course and continue to use artificial sweeteners if you like, as much as you like. That does not mean artificial sweeteners are free from criticism and guaranteed to be safe forever. But we need way better studies to cancel out all the studies that say they're totally fine and put up a huge volume of aggregate evidence to say, okay, now we know they're bad for sure. It's probably never going to happen, but if it does, it's going to be more than one study here and there. Sure as shit going to be more than one association study, and it's sure as shit going to be more than one association study that found that the people who have these problems are also more likely to be diabetic, more likely to have metabolic syndrome, and more likely to be high consumers of ultra-processed foods and alcohol, for the love of God. So for the time being, our best, as far as I can speak for the scientific community, my best, let me take that back, understanding seems to be that artificial sweeteners are probably neutral for health, plain and simple. If they help you achieve your goals and have some fun along the way, I think they're totally great. This video was brought to you by Big Artificial Sweetener. It's literally one guy. He's huge. He comes to your house and he's just like, you better say the right shit. Yes, sir. So I typed this up. I'm scared. This is a cry for help. I'll see you guys next time.
Thank you, Dr. Mike. I will respectfully disagree. All right, we have a little bit of time before I have to pack up for today. So we're gonna do some time in squad just to look at something jiggling on screen. People really underestimate how much alcohol, especially liquor, spikes your sugar. Not only that, alcohol. We need to understand that alcohol chemically, just by the way your body processes it, is actual fucking poison. Like it imparts absolutely no benefit to you when consumed, but it wreaks absolute havoc to your body. If at all possible, stop drinking alcohol. It does nothing for you. It imparts no benefit. It taxes your body significantly. And yes, it does have some pretty strong evidence showing that it might actually be actively making you dumber in the long term. Like, it's actually causing brain cell death when consumed frequently enough. There is absolutely zero benefits to consuming alcohol. Like, I am not a big proponent of smoking the devil's cabbage, but I will say that it's probably better for you than drinking alcohol. Do not consume the fucking retard juice. I don't care if your family has been doing it for years. I do not care that you've always been doing that. It's some kind of fucking tradition. Stop it. Alcohol is peak goy slop. Do not ingest it under any circumstance. Alright, working through our dailies. I need to buy stuff. Experienced ship. So, big takeaway you get from the conversations is you need to make weekly trips to H Mart for kimchi and natto. The kimchi is easy because you know you like it with beef. Kimchi is great. I don't know if H Marts have the same range across the country. I buy some pickle aubergine. So it's usually in the pickle section. Pickle aubergine and umeboshi, pickled plum. So I'll usually have like the honey pickled plum, or no, never mind. I usually take the shiso because it's a little bit more sour. Shiso, pickled plum, and you'll have those little vacuum sealed purple baggies of eggplant. Can't you just have a pickle instead? I don't believe so, because pickles, as in like the pickled cucumber, doesn't really have the same microbiome profile in It's a little bit barren in that sense because the brine is very aggressive. Like, you can still have like just pickles for fun if you enjoy them. No harm in that. 160, I'm not pulling that off. 130, I could probably compete. Depending on how fast you are. Let me see. I think we can pull this off. Pickle Korea. Pretty much, yeah. Listen, we just don't have a culture of fermented foods. That's unfair. I didn't know. Since when does this hoe cause faint with her fucking ult? Oh, if the target is a support type, I see. Fair enough. That's on me for not reading. Well, let me make sure that you don't shield up then. And I will shield up, because most of your stuff is single hit. Wait, none of the pickles I've listed are Korean pickles, though. I've listed Japanese pickles, so for me it's going to be Pickles Japan. I fuck with umeboshi big time. I can't get the kind I want, just because, you know, it's a little bit difficult to find them outside of Japan. Like, they're sold by a very specific shop in Kyoto, which makes the trip worth it every time. I brought over some concentrated... what are pickled plums like? It depends on what they're pickled with, but I really like them. The base for pickled plum, they're always going to be on the sour side, and depending on what they're marinated in, they're going to be either slightly sweet or slightly salty. Probably my favorite pickle of all time. Honey pickled plum is probably like the standard for most of them, I would say. Getting some good defensive scores. Last job had a kitchen that semi-regularly had pickled daikon. It was pretty good in salads. I really like it on just plain fresh rice. It's one of my favorite things. Just like regular plums, so if fermenting plums makes them sour, the better for you. Well, the thing is that it's a very specific species of plum. It's very specifically Asian ume plum. So it has a different texture and a different profile to it compared to like European plums and the plums that we have here. So they like the baseline for ume is a sour, very pronounced sour and astringent taste. Greens across the board, you say? Like, it's a 50 power team, so I probably shouldn't be overthinking it, but I still will. Fucking nuke them with Aki. Can I one-hit you? Nearly. I probably don't even need to shield up. Oh no, Milk is playing Dota 2. I need to stage an intervention. Oh, you didn't freeze, okay. I put you in a collab with the thing that plays Dota 2. I may have. Listen, she's alright. Could be worse, could be League. Real. I've yet to see a difference between League and Dota. Listen, Manny, let people have their vices, okay? You will simply explain it this way, dude. Please do. Regale us. Plays League. Yeah, I don't think you want to throw stones from that particular glass house. Okay. 90. I kind of don't want... how fast are you? 88? What's my speed rating on you? 89, so slightly faster. Unless this bitch slows me down, I should be fine. Shattered this glass house long ago. You throw stones at other houses. The best players have tried to switch and they tend to come back with the same uniform reason for not playing Dota: too hard. So League of Legends is just casual Dota. Okay, no slowdown, that's good. A little bit of slowdown. But not enough. Get cocked. Okay, Eleanor is useless now, because all she can do is buff. And I can still shield. So League is basically just the Hoyoification of Dota. Lots of blender porn, lots of premium skins, but relatively low skill. Stuff that's standard practice in Dota gets you banned in League. I love it. So the comparison would be like Counter-Strike and what's that other one? Fucking not Apex. What's that baby's first tactical team shooter where it's Counter-Strike but very hand-holdy? That's Valorant. There you go. So it's like, so if Dota is to League what Counter-Strike is to Valorant. Valorant is CS but gay. That's besides the point, but I also kind of agree. Both are made by Valve. Both are made by Riot. Ah, interesting. So, wait, Dota isn't made by Valve, though, is it? Oh, it is. It is. That's true. League of Legends at its highest level of play requires an IQ of 80 and the APM of an 8-year-old. Counter-Strike is the same uncompromising ball breaker it was 20 years ago. Valorant is not only bitch-made CS, the map design is terrible. I will take your word for it. I played Counter-Strike 1.6, and that's probably the last time I played Counter-Strike. Interesting lineup. I'm gonna do this. Yeah, I'm gonna do this. If League of Legends had a ball and an FPS gun somewhere, you could train to play it. Manny, why do I hear that word despite you not typing it out? Alright, so you are supposed to be an annoying team that's difficult to hit and is always shielded up. I see how you play this. Well, two can play this game. It's the first time I've seen someone actually bring out Rin into this level of play. Yeah, it didn't save you from getting fucking frozen. Wait, why do they keep gaining shield? I don't like that. Going to post something in general because you can't paste it in media. Needs to be zoomed in because it's old as fuck and was gold standard for how you view map design in FPS games. Valorant never gets past intermediate. Okay. Dota isn't that complex, but it requires you to think at all, which makes it difficult for most gamers. Understandable. Well, it makes it difficult for most tourist gamers, because games used to be, you know, a problem-solving exercise. That was kind of the point of the medium. It wasn't supposed to be a hand-holding fest for retarded journalists. A game being inaccessible, as we would term it today, and, you know, somewhat challenging to run, used to be an appeal point. Well, still is for some games, like Neo and Dark Souls are kind of advertised around that. Dark Souls achieving that mostly through bad quality of life more than intelligent game design. Bop. We need to be inclusive of girl gamers. Let's yellow paint an easy difficulty. You're not wrong. Swish. Like, look at Tekken. The moment it stopped trying to... let me put it that way. The moment it decided that it didn't want to be a game exclusively for sweats, it became fucking insufferable to play. Like, it became so toxic and cancerous that nobody wants to engage with it now. Huh. We are going to do this. I'm gonna play this defensive side. I'm seeing a lot of you. Why is Rinka suddenly in vogue to play? Souls games only filter like 1% of people who play. The most NPC normies brag about beating Dark Souls. That's also true. That's why most people who want to seem impressive in beating it usually have to do so through some, you know, retarded contrivance of like, well, you're not supposed to use backstab, like you're not supposed to level your character, you're not supposed to use some basic ass core mechanics of the game. Okay, we should be generally safe from Shirayuki. Okay, debuff blocked. You don't give any blocks, or you don't give any debuffs, and now all of you get frozen. Someone didn't run a debuff build. See, after having learned that freeze reduces the amount of damage I get on frozen enemies, I no longer like it. But my PvP stack is built on freeze. Someone's completely shattered Dark Souls games like a cheat code. That's why a difficulty setting is unnecessary. I mean, the same with Sekiro. If you play Sekiro the way it's designed to be played, which is to be a stealth game, it's actually piss easy. Everyone who I've seen struggle with Sekiro struggle because they try to play it like a Dark Souls game. Even though FromSoft was making ninja stealth games way before they figured out how to, you know, make janky suffering simulators. Like, Dark Souls isn't hard in the sense that, you know, because games are inherently not hard, but they are frustrating.
さあ踊りましょうか。行くわよ。全力で。ほっ、オラオラオラオラ。撃ちます。や、そんなバカな。やりましたね。
Are people trying to jury-rig evasion? Like evasion-based builds, I guess. Like if you're not going to hit me, I guess you get frozen instead. That kind of deal. All right, let me complete some shit. You know what? I think we're going to work on beating one of the bosses that we still haven't cleared, because I don't have enough resources to go further up the tower. So that's what we're going to do. Sekiro really was open world stealth and parry spam bosses. Not just parry spam bosses. Yes, some of the bosses could only be parry spammed, but a lot of them usually had some kind of exploit of, well, first of all, you could just avoid fighting 2 health bars by backstabbing them before the fight starts when you force them to lose aggro. And other times it was, yeah, just learn the pattern and just parry the shit out of them. Sekiro is a janky suffering simulator. It's not a stealth game. It has pretensions to stealth and nothing else. You hate it because it's what some ass clown is going to hold up as in a meeting to say they want this instead of Tenchu. So, how should I put this? The stealth in Sekiro, I wouldn't say that Sekiro is janky, because jank would imply that things are not working or are working incorrectly. Stealth in Sekiro is too broken because enemies don't have object permanence. They took a script logic and an AI logic from Dark Souls, and then they added a stealth component from Tenchu to it, and it just broke the whole thing in half. I still enjoy the game. It has very pleasant storytelling is great, and I just, you know, I enjoy the swordplay and its visual design. Tenchu games had real collision detection back on the PS1, real and true. I would really like a new Tenchu game. I wouldn't be opposed to just, you know, some more Sekiro content, but a Tenchu game is what I would prefer. I probably don't have the stats to max you out. I do probably just need the resources from it, so we're just gonna quick play this. I need to build my passives on Venus because 2 of these are like key components of my next arena run. Because I need someone who can cast Feint frequently. And that's pretty much just Mari. Okay, we need 30. And we need 15. 2 more. There we go. Alright, shield you up. Tactical challenge, red. Yeah, we're probably better off like this. Appreciate the story in that it has very Japanese angle of entropy and overcoming tragedy in it. The music is solid. You hate having to play it to enjoy those things. Demon of Hatred is the best boss for both of these reasons. See, how should I put this? I really like the minor enemy combat because it's a very well-made fencing simulator. And it offers you a choice. Like, do you want to approach those encounters head on, or do you want to cheese them with stealth to some extent? And the sort of stealth opportunities are actually pretty good. Like, I enjoy running the entire length of Senpoji Temple. And I enjoy running it specifically as a stealth exercise. I want to stack bleed on you before I... Yeah, there we go. Like, once you understand what a boss does... You know, Demon of Hatred is probably my least favorite because he is the most Dark Souls boss. Because you can't really deal with his tools like the way the rest of the game works by just being good with your parries and with your evasion. Because he's so big and a lot of his shit is just straight up unblockable. And then you'll have bosses like, goddamn, the horseback guy. From who you eventually take a spear. Nobutaka or something to that effect. Basically, he's a boss that can be beaten by just blocking, because at no point... His moveset is deliberately designed in a way that he cannot stature break you, or even if he does, he can't capitalize on it. So outside of a few unblockables, he can't really do any damage past your guard. So we take your shield away. Gyobo Masataka, there you go. King of VA Ham. I really like this VA. I like... there's not a single VA performance that I don't like in Sekiro. It was such a well-made game. And it made very good uses of both conventional Japanese mythos themes and still gave them a novel twist. Without, you know, being all the way apocryphal. That's what I really like. I still have a new game plus 3 of Sekiro going. I guess I could boot it up at some point. I would have to fuck with my capture card to get it running, but, you know, it's something that I can do. He's one turn away, so I really don't want to waste this. I probably want to give others a damage buff. We can make S rank, but damn, my reds really need a little bit of a buff. Like, we're not in even double S category, just for raw DPS. I'm starting to question my weapon choice on Azusa, because her buff is effectively useless. Healing over time isn't so strong, because usually I'll have a sustain on the team anyway. And, like, it takes away from other things I could be doing with her. To clarify the shit you heard online, did lords in Japan go that hard announcing themselves on the battlefield? When given the opportunity, they would, yes. Not even necessarily lords, just regular ass. If you were anything other than of just completely fucking rice farmer common Ashigaru descent, then yeah, you could ride into a battlefield like a fucking boss announcing. That's to borrow the Zoomer term, because it's actually very appropriate, the Japanese have been aura farming since the fucking Yayoi period. It was expected that you would do that before a duel, even. Let's see. I forgot. I just lost my train of thought of when we need to run regular story mode. We run this because it gives us a free 4-star eventually. Do I have anything better to farm? I do. I need to farm more 3-stars. Oh, I wanted to check the Azusa weapon. Azusa weapon. What does this one do? If the character's HP is 80% or more, crit rate is increased by 7.5%. Speed and attack. See, I think like the 5% buff and damage is cool and all, but this is probably a more useful weapon, and I just blew all of my Mercury blueprints. That's tragic. That is not great. One attacking target with bleed performs 15% lifesteal. That's something I could consider. Is it in whole or part to confirm any kills they got? No, that's what taking heads was for. It was more to the point of... How should I put this? You are claiming your presence at the battlefield while announcing your entry into combat as to proceed with combat with no guile or subterfuge. Think of it the same way as sumo wrestlers are announced into a ring. Do we have any more 3-stars to try to lift up? I don't believe we do. Do we have enough 4-stars to do anything? Not really. Can we upstar you? We cannot. We can bump you and you. Alright, let's leave it at this, because I want to use the rest of my fast completes for this. You like Demon because it's in the game that you came to play, being slick, using tools to shield you from the fire, picking hits. The game you play is what you also wish they would have just made it into. Abandon the stealth and just fence it out. No honorable shinobi shit, just a samurai retainer with aggressive options. See, but I like the shinobi cheese. Like, the shinobi cheese allows me to pick and choose my battles. It gives me an opportunity of, do I want to go ham and just go directly into take my fights directly, or if I want to take an area populated with enemies and dismantle them as a stealth game, which you can do in certain areas. Well, with most of them, actually. Grade up a character. That I would really like to do that if I had the resources. Okay, now bosses. Let's look at bosses we have not completed. Green bitch. We have yet to kill you. Given that you are a green bitch, we are going to look for ways to minimize your damage. Rather prevent you from casting your obnoxious fucking bleed and immobilize. The only one we have is probably you. Shield and debuff block. Shiranui is a natural pick. She's a bad pick for typing because greens are just going to blow her entire ass out. But that is probably the fit here. This is good because she can impart passive heals on everyone without relying on a recovering skill. Alternatively, we could go for Muddy as our healer. Only speeds up technique characters though, okay. We could go for Muddy. Let's try it like this. I've never tried it with this particular stack. Except they force you away from stealth in so many places. Go all the way, or you don't at all. You don't want face fight Lord Lightning McDick. You want him to get his ass deep into conversation before you shiv him in the kidney. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. For one, shivving him in the kidney only reduces the fight by 1 health bar. Like, thems are the rules. That's the premise of the game. I'm starting to think that Azusa may be my highest pure DPS for these situations. Okay, we're not going to heal because mid-round we're going to heal off more. Saturday, Sunday are the slowest day of the week. It's America's birthday. Traffic is double the usual amount. I would assume people are going places because it's the 4th of July. Like, I'm going to go to a place today that I'm not going to advertise, but I'm going to a place. I assume other people are as well. I'll speed it up a little bit. It is a pretty big holiday, so I would assume that people have some kind of activities planned around it. Freight traffic through a distribution center. Ha! Well, then I don't know what to tell you. It is odd for a Saturday that's also usually a federal holiday. Alright, how do we usually play this? The presence of Brick Bag McThicky, your days improved yet again. Listen, I am to please. Okay. We shield up against debuffs and we pray for the best. Okay, we still do not really need to do anything about this. Let's see. Take you down. It's gonna trigger her to respond instantly. Or not. Let's freeze you out of gaining access to your abilities, or not. That's also cool. We could just have immobilize, not trigger at all. That's cool. I don't have a lot of confidence in this succeeding because, you know, my stack is a bit of a mixed bag here for now. Others could also self-heal. Then again, heal on turn, you should be fine. I plan to 6-star the other version of Marty because I need her for her ability to stack Faint. Okay, we only get access to this once because we don't get to recover anything. Because this bitch constantly puts us under immobilize. And slowdown is not triggering. Like this, I hate this. I hate the fact that she just gets access to fucking immobilize on every regular hit, by the way. It's not even like a cooldown ability. She can just renew fucking immobilize on every turn. Poison and immobilize, that's great. I don't understand, like, a boss with all of that going on should have either a smaller health pool or limited damage. Right, this is not working. We need a different stack for this. So yeah, this one still work in progress. Who do we have left? We have you left, actually. So Seal of the Dark Moon is an annoying ability to deal with. However, more feasible is what I think. So I want to try. Wonder if we can have two primary attackers and 2 of these bitches trying to prevent debuff stacking. Like, yeah, we lose some DPS, but we're not turn limited, so we should be fine. I can't even one-hit this guy. That's too bad. Like, we've had some gains in damage output. I think we should be fine. Yeah, so these bitches only have... No, I'm not sure how much HP they have. How much HP do they have? 18,000 on that one. Oh, this one's significantly thicker. Double the HP. It's funny that Eleanor is just pretty useless outside of her two abilities. Like, she's a proper support character. All she can do is shield and block debuffs. Alright, we need to get the fucking posse out of the way as fast as possible. We earn an extra turn on this, even in exchange for DPS. There we go. And we're going to instantly shield with Shiranui. Modern support woman, shield, block DPS, and jiggle. That's pretty much all she does. See, but Shiranui is less useless. For one, she both shields and blocks debuffs on the same turn with her ultimate. Yes, the cooldown is longer, but more useful, and you can also potentially block the boss from spamming abilities if the Mobilize ever triggers. I think we can just do shields now. It's not even that much shield, though. And Eleanor is a pain in the ass to level. Like, she's not in any of the regular gacha pulls. She was a pay-for-play character. You can get her through fragments now, but it's still a whole fucking thing. Okay, we block debuffs again. That doesn't make use of the debuff. Guess I wasted my turn on that. Maybe I should swap her out with a healer after all. So we should probably swap her out with Mari instead. Because Rakshasa is about to go down. Maybe we need a bit more DPS. Yeah, that does not work. That does not work. That does not work. Think. So Mari, if I recall correctly, can also cleanse debuffs. So even if we procure some, she's probably better for this. I'm not sure about your fucking single attack damage, girly. Attack almost 4,000 compared to you with a 3,500. And yet, here we are. Let's try this again. Run Yuffie and Sophie to heal and clear stacks. Yuffie and Sophie have a very long cooldown on their heal. Like, Mari doesn't... Not only does Mari mog them on both breast and ass size, but she's also a better healer. Look at that. How can Yuffie and Sophie even compete? No amount of cunny makes their comparatively bad healing worth it. I do need to give her some cores. If anything, just health and defense. Should give her the ability to self-heal.
さてやってみよっか。見切れるかな。さあ踊りましょうか。
See, like, Shiranui isn't just a support type. She also actually fucks people up quite severely. Did that poison carry over? That's not poison, that's weakened, right? How did that carry over from a previous round? You're going to take a page out of Dodo's book and call that her bag of helping? Well, she's definitely helping.
見切れるかな。切りかかる。無駄だ。さあ踊りましょうか。
私せーの。
Oh, that's unfortunate. Funny thing is, I think I have both of these succubi as playable units.
さてやってみよっか。見切れるかな。
We're going to have to pop a heal pretty early in the next round. Let's pop this.
叩きつける。流星群。
Let's get bops for her trouble.
さてやってみよっか。さて
Yeah,
やってみよっか。
Rinko is not pulling her weight.
さあ踊りましょう。
I may need to reconsider her as a pick here.
よいぞ。
私ですね。
We're fine without a heal for now.
切りかかる。無駄だ。
10,000 in a regular attack versus Rakshasas. Alright, we'll test that later.
さあ踊りましょうか。
Immobilize?
有言語。
Immobilize, good, okay.
はい、私ですね。
Heal you?
この辺に。
感謝する。 さてやってみよっか。見切れるかな。
24,000 on a basic
切り
attack.
かかる。見えた。さあ踊りましょうか。
はい、私ですね。
And let's go heal everyone.
感謝する。ありがとう。切りかかる。無駄だ。さてやってみよっか。見切れるかな。さあ踊りましょうか。
Yeah, we need to clear that shit.
切りかかる。無駄だ。さてやってみよっか。切り捨てる。
私ですね。
Hopefully she doesn't decide to kill on this turn. And she decides to kill. Yeah, that's just bad RNG.
踊りましょうか。さてやってみよっか。見切れるかな。
Check my phone. Just a second. Might be Oni wife. No, it's not.
確かこの辺に。ありました。
さあ踊りましょうか。
Did not clear the debuff. That's fine.
さてやってみよっか。
Yeah, we probably need to swap out someone with better DPS than Rinko. For some reason, she's just not hucking it.
さてやってみよっか。切り捨てる。 さあ踊りましょうか。あ、有言語。さてやってみよっか。見切れるかな。
We're getting her to about half health, which is not bad, just not quite enough.
さあ踊りましょうか。た深くを取ったか。さてやってみよっか。見切れるかな。
No, she can just basically pick me off one by one after this. Like, even if I heal through, the amount of these stacks is a problem, and she stacks them just pretty frequently. Yeah, not great.
ここまでか。私ですね。
Okay. We need someone who can resurrect and does more damage. We can't have both because obvious reasons. Let's try this because I guess 2 healers is a little bit superfluous. Let's try it.
Sate, やってみよっか。見切れるかな。少し遊んであげるわ。
One resets reasonably frequently.
真の吸血鬼の頂点。その力。さあ踊りましょうか。今のは響いたわ。
No, other way around. Other way around. As much as I want to keep Mari on the team, if I'm going to go with the Vampire Queen, I need someone who causes a lot of bleed. And that's honestly this one.
Sate, やってみよっか。見切れるかな。少し遊んであげるわ。
Okay, we like to see that.
真の吸血鬼の頂点。その力見せてあげる。暗いな。さあ踊りましょうか。
では行こうか。邪眼熾烈。過去の傷から。
So far, relatively easy street, although we
やってみよっか。
blew our load on a couple of ultimates a little early.
串刺しよ。さあ踊りましょうか。
Should be fine.
こっちよ。では行こうか。はいやあ。
さてやってみよっか。見切れるかな。少し遊んであげるわ。串刺しよ。さあ踊りましょうか。
Still alive.
今のは響いたわ。
I'm almost impressed.
今のは響いたわ。さてやってみよっか。見切れるかな。
Okay, we're going into the boss round a little worse for wear. You're getting jealous of the woman on screen? That, from what I understand, is a normal female reaction. I recall reading a paper somewhere that when women see someone with a bigger breast than theirs, especially in a position of an expressed lordoic spine, they get irrationally angry. That is an actual line in a scientific study that I read. And it explains so much female behavior that I observed. Listen, I'm not calling you out. Listen, this was a self-made admission. I did not force your hand. Breast mogged. Well, to be fair, right now the boss is stat mogging me, so we're pretty much in the same boat. What can I do to you? Rip. Listen, I don't make up the rules. I insist that Hellion is one of the good ones, but she's not entirely immune to the female condition. If she were not to have woman moments, would she be a woman at all? I don't like the fact that she just raped my fucking primary damage dealer. I'm really not appreciative of that. Not very cash money of you. That's just bad RNG, because if she would have went for Clara, for Kara, she would have resurrected after that. What the fuck is that area? Oh god. You want their problems? You don't even know if that's something your GI can even be proud to plant a flag on. Listen, I'm sure that your man enjoys them plenty. I will throw you a bone. I have yet to see a pair of large breasts age gracefully. So you're just going to have better vintage past 30. How's that? Just a second. Okay, you'll take that win. There you go. You gotta work with what you have access to. Meanwhile, Kara as a passive healer works pretty well. Works pretty well, especially with her ability to resurrect after 2 turns. All I have to do is just not fumble Rakshasa for a couple of turns, and I'll be fine. We shield up. There we go. It's not their fault. It's a positive pressure genetic trait. Much of their male brain switch that turns everything down except aggression, which goes maximum upon hearing a certain tone of scream. You're nearing 40s. They're still perky. See, there you go. There you go. Motherfucker, her cooldowns were not... Okay, we're gonna have to attempt this another day because this is obviously not working out. Let's try one more on this guy. I think he should be more... We didn't even... Oh, okay. Okay, I see how it is. Let's try this. Plain shields. Let's just go as is. I think it should be fine. Just raw dog it. And we still get gems for it too, so. A classic case of we're all going to make it, exactly. Never black pill. They've gone a little too hard in the paint with the ultimate there. See, I think it's more productive to be jealous of things that are attainable. For example, the washboard abs on Maribel. I look at those and I'm jealous, and it keeps me more more accountable on my diet and forces me to do more cardio. Oh yeah, we would have benefited from having an ult available here. Fuck it, that's what Mirabella's for. They simply turned up the boomer metal. Not that I'm complaining, I prefer that, but... Alright, increased crits. Let's set this thing on fire. And it doesn't set on fire. This is fine. I surely will manage just fine without a healer. That's fine, I wasn't using her for anything anyway. I want to see how much HP I can burn through on him without having to adjust my stack just on passive buffs that I got. Oh, that's fine. Oh, that is just a free fucking crit buff for Maribel. Let's fucking go. Outfits are not bad, not gonna lie. I would have designed them more elegantly, but you like the space they add on the design silhouettes. The Taimanin series is generally very good at designing characters. Like, they have a recognizable character silhouette, they add just the right amount of detail on their character models. They make them tell a story, which I really like. I probably wouldn't even go that far as to say that these were made by a man, because the attention to detail is... How should I put this? You know how Azur Lane costumes are very obviously made by a woman, just based on the sheer amount of small detail that's attached to it? It's very possible that it's... Whoa, okay. This motherfucker heal off? Even if the armor sometimes looks like survivorship bias charts at times, listen, that's the point of the franchise. Complaining that the outfits in a Taimanin game are a little bit skimpy is like walking into a forest and complaining that it has trees in it. Like to take the eyes of men that stare at us in certain areas. Like, what do you mean by take eyes? Do you mean like actually take the eye out of the socket, or attach their attention to something? We're kind of close to making it, though. I think we could probably swap out Rinko for a healer, and yeah, that's probably gonna be the play. So if the AI places its next hit on Rakshasa, it's completely over. Oh, and it's an AoE. Never mind. Yeah, it's completely over. Okay, but this is doable. This is doable. We can actually fub this. We can actually pull this out. Since you are purple, swap you out for... Actually, let's swap you out for Kara. Because Kara is A, unkillable, and B, can give passive heals to everyone else. So she is effectively better than some dedicated healers. We just swat you like flies.
串出しよ作戦目標確認行動開始食らえ
I really like that they brought over a lot of characters from RPG, both as mobs and as playable characters. Because realistically, time in an RPG is not a really enjoyable playing experience. Like, it only is as populated as it is just off of the porn. Oh, their attention, basically, the little details and complexity to barren skin areas, which doesn't make it look skimpy because the exposed skin is just a treat for your eyes. Oh, look, a gun in a holster. Oh, I see. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I guess that's sort of the mechanism behind my recent truism, I will call it, that the right combination of relatively simple underwear, like, you know, the Calvin Klein archetype, the simple sporty gray, with tactical gear like a chest rig or a plate carrier and a war belt actually looks hotter than most conventional lingerie. Yeah, in that sense, that's probably the way most female designs in this game work. We're just gonna dump damage into this guy. Like, look at the way Rakshasa, for example, is designed. Like, I really like her design, up to the point where I'm looking for pieces of it to steal. Competence and sexy, most women aren't confident. Rarity makes things sexy. I mean, but where's the lie? Women with pretty faces wearing armor, that's also true. Okay, as long as I don't get one-tapped by this thing, I should be fine. Okay, he's gonna do his gay little AoE, and then he's going to burn through my entire shield with it. So I'm gonna give him the AoE, unless it gives faint. Let me quickly check what it does. He's gonna do that. Enhanced Terror Crash, enemies 5 times. Inflicted with slowdown at 40%. Okay, so I'm gonna let him do the AoE. This is also the appeal of Haunts, by the way. They're all high performers in one way or another. That explains a lot. Alright. I guess that's the same appeal of Girls Frontline. Because that's also, like, what the dolls do. Like, part of the appeal of the T-dolls is that they're not useless liabilities. They're all extremely competent in their own given field. Still gets fainted, but that's fine. Still suboptimal in the sense that her cooldowns are also frozen when she fainted. Oh, he gains damage reflect when those two clowns are on the field. Okay, got it. Not a problem. Oh, he just gains. Okay, never mind. He just gets fucking damage reflect for no reason. Fortunately, it's not bad damage reflect. I take more issue with the fact that he self-heals. Perhaps we may want to swap out Kirara with Shiranui. I need him to target Kara. If he kills Kara, then she gets to respawn and basically negating whatever damage he did. Someone pointed out about Faye Valentine and Cowboy Bebop. She's the opposite, incredibly conversationally attractive, but a capricious, irresponsible, uncouth bitch. Only good as a garden sculpture at best. Is she... I forget if she... But she's not, like, actually useless, though. That's what she is in social interactions, but she's still, like, in a character with agency and certain abilities. Morse, can you expose the more detail you have to give on the covered areas that break solid planes? Like the lingerie designs with crochet laces that stab outwards with rays going inside to make it cough. Something appear larger at the tips of the rays to draw lines for you, while the inward spaces give it volume visually. I see. This makes a lot of sense when you put it like that. Her competence is exclusively good for herself. She's really bad about being useful to anyone else. Well, that's just, you know, the female condition. Although for that reason, see, I think Faye Valentine is generally liked because she is the only female lead in the show. It's not like she has another one to compete with. I think we got this. We got this. Hell yeah. Get styled on, bitch. And that gives me enough polishing kits to finally equip Mari with some cores. Edward is female? Well, yeah. See, Edward is a bit of a an exception. Like, Edward is not positioned as a female lead. It's like it's a very, first of all, gender ambiguous character, and second of all, you know, a child at that. But for example, speaking like the things that you were talking about, Kimberly. Why did I refer to you by your... I don't know if it's the last name or whatnot. Radical Edward. But Hellion, as you were saying, like, there are a lot... For example, the Taimanin suits are an example of very good design. Like, it's just a fucking body glove. But they pepper in those little details, like, Rinko is a swordsman primarily, right? She's, like, the primary head of, the sword style that she practices. So, what makes sense... It makes sense that she has a dedicated sword mount on her bodysuit, which those are, like, the little hip attachments. I don't know why the nip armor is there, but I don't mind that it's there. The gauntlets also make sense. The greaves make sense. Anyways, where are the H scenes? In Taimanin RPGX. Let's look at another Taimanin suit. For Saika, for example. Like, her is basically limited to just the one piece, but she still has... Well, for one, she has her mechanical legs that give a big opportunity to play around with the detail. The fucking Evangelion horn looking ones are kind of cool. Asagi is assumed to be like the default, and even still, like, they gave it a very nice... They gave her suit a very nice twist. Like, yes, it's a plain tight bodysuit on the surface of it, but they have certain lightning cuts on it, a little bit of fishnets as like a callback to traditional shinobi designs because they're supposed to be shinobis. One of my actually favorite designs is Azusa. Like, she is the most fully clothed woman in the entire game, I think. But this is my favorite design. because I generally fuck with like the sword saint archetype, and the way her costume elements work together, like there is still an understood outline and silhouette on her, and she has those like big blotches of detail that speaks, like the prominent armor pieces, the susol, the skirt, the large wide pants that were a callback to traditional samurai armor that are supposed to enable mobility while giving protection in like key areas that would take hits in the event of any kind of sword and bladed exchange. You know what I mean? What are other cool designs? See, like Murasaki is kind of plain, but then her look is completed by the gigantic axe that she hauls around. That one is actually even more so. Like the cyborg butler the most. I can't recall her name right now. Well, for one, Saika is also a cyborg butler because her legs are prosthetic, and she is technically still a butler of the Fuma family. I know who you're talking about. Let me pull her up. There she is, Fuma Amane. I think she only has one prosthetic hand, or two. I'm not sure, but like she's not fully cyborg. Oh no, possibly the legs too. Actually, now that I think about it. Again, looks nice. She, like, her design is a little bit simpler because, well, first of all, fully clothed. Second of all, she does lean into, like, a trope. She's supposed to have uniform. For example, Tokiko, who's also technically a retainer in the Fuma clan. Like, her design is sort of informed by formal wear because you have, like, the business suit perked up shoulders, but she still retains elements of like just a Taimanin suit design. I'm totally not turning her around for the butt jiggle. This is actually one of the cleaner designs, despite it being one of the simpler ones that I really like. The masked Taimanin. Prefer a less is more design, generally. True, that works for some characters. Again, Masked Taimanin is definitely a showcase of that. Like, very simple, not a lot of frills, still follows the design language of Taimanins, right? It's a closely fitted bodysuit with lightning cuts for improved mobility. The little fishnet inserts to make a callback to like shinobi outfits because they would have that pleated undershirt. Nagi, I really like her look because she has those additional armor elements to her. Kurenai is actually also a very interesting character design. She has that long sort of blade-esque long coat about her. So she's one of the more clothed characters, definitely. And it looks cool. I prefer her Halloween version, but we don't get different costumes on characters sadly here, only as like separate characters altogether. I like Rakshasa the way she's made, just because I personally really dig that sort of Muramachi Jidai kind of design language of both the weapons and the armor. Like armor pauldrons in a very aggressive style, fully armored up legs, big swinging dick sword. And also, what I really like is the very intricate design. Like, it's not just a sheet of cloth. It is very deliberately expressed to us that this is a cloth of well-made kimono cloth, as we can sort of understand from it having golden thread embroidery and a very complex design all around. The giant titties also are a great help in tying the whole outfit together. Alright, I have to go and prepare because Oni wife made some more burgers. and I am going to go and participate in those. So I'm going to find someone to raid. Let's see what we're working with for numbers, and that's going to tell me how do I scale our raid. Let's see. Who haven't we raided in a while? Who's currently live? Trying to think. Shondo. No, probably not. Probably not. You know what? Let's try to see if there are any friendies we can pop into. You know what? Rhea hasn't been on for quite a while, so I think we can raid her, and she has appropriate US 250 paraphernalia on stream. So we're going to raid into Rhea. I see people hopping off. Stick around for the raid. Alright, we're going to start a... Oh, unable to raid at this time. Okay then, never mind. Someone wants their privacy, that's perfectly fine. In that case, we're going to raid into Tiferet. She is... playing Minecraft. She's just done with the Girls Frontline campaign as far as I know. Okay, so we're going to start up a raid. Again, happy 4th of July, happy 250th anniversary. Go and have fun. Stay responsible with your fun. Watch some fireworks. Represent. Remember, never let the flag touch the ground. And most importantly, remember that America is the best country in the world. The world belongs to America. And every day would be America Day if we felt like making it that way. This has been Kuro Onii-san, signing out.
Fucker, get off.